Hi, welcome librarians and Leonins to episode 22 of Dion Rising.
Yay!
Hi, babe. Yay. We're here this time. This right here is a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition actual play campaign brought to you by the Knights of D20, these guys. Hi, my friends. As usual, before we begin reading lore and telling lies, we have a few announcements brought to you by a friend of mine who once stumped the troll under the bridge in my backyard by giving him the world's hardest riddle. Bobby, please do us the honor of saying what's new with the Knights of D20.
Yeah, what's new with the Knights of D20? Well, tomorrow's at Mod Pod. Me and Royal sit down, and the long-awaited Ranger episode is coming out, where we got so much angrier than I think either of us thought we would as we went through both the old and the new 2024 Ranger. It's go check it out. It'll be out tomorrow.
Yeah, I swayed him. He is now angry as I am. It is good.
Ranger hater.
Listen, it's bad. Anyhow, Wednesday, myself and JP, we're gonna sit down for tea time, and we're gonna talk about libraries. We're gonna talk about the craziness that's going on in Eidos's memories. And we're gonna, anything you want us to talk about over on our Discord, head over there. We do have a section for any tea that you want spilled. Feel free to ask, and I will ask the questions and get you answers. Over on Book Club, here soon we will have our ACOTAR video out. That should be out by the end of the month so that we can go into next month with Royal's selection. In Casting Friendship, this week is going to be Kara and Mel talking about Valentine's romance. Super cute. And speaking of romance, we do want to give a big happy birthday shout out to Will Baum, Kara's husband, who is more than just supportive of her, but supportive of all of us as well. We love him to death. Drop some comments in there giving him a happy birthday. Head over to our Discord and wish him a happy birthday because he deserves it, because he's amazing. But with that, I am going to send it back to our Dungeon Mother so we can get this stream underway.
Thank you, Bobby. I do have a request for tea time. I want you to ask John Paul what it's like to be the note taker for the Knights of Dion. I'm dying to know.
I got plenty to say about it.
Good. Please put that in your notes. Okay. So let's talk about where we left off last time in episode 21. The heroes of Tuzenkin arrived at the great Athenaeum of Arendriel in the capital city, Ozoled. Maraway received his first ever library card, and the group dispersed into the stacks to find what they could about Emperor Orin, the items he might be seeing for nefarious deeds, and for some of them, a little bit of information about their own personal histories and choices. Their learning, however, kind of hit a roadblock as the archivists informed them that much of the more detailed information about, like, the history of the gods, the history of the Orinese Empire, all these kind of things that they really had to dig into, is actually being kept in a restricted access section of the Athenaeum called the Hall of Echoes. With a bit of time to kill, because it doesn't appear that they're going to be able to gain official access to that area of the library anytime soon, they decided to head to a nearby inn and rather upscale restaurant called the Sandy Snowman, where they planned to meet Seraphina's former schoolmate for dinner. So they stole a birthday girl's reservation at the restaurant, sat down, and catching up with Seraphina's friend Mira, who now works as a lower archivist at the Athenaeum, they didn't really have to give her much reason to see a little bit of excitement. She divulged to them that some of the monks, a good amount of the monks who guard the Athenaeum, will be leaving town in 2 nights' time. And she even agreed to kind of help the group try and sneak into the Hall of Echoes during that, like, window of opportunity that is approaching. The gang snuck out the back door of the Sandy Snowman when the real birthday girl showed up, and they continued their first evening in Ozoled by attending a very posh magic relic auction. It was quickly disrupted by an armed robbery, which seemed to have been orchestrated by a young dragon of some form, in disguise as a humanoid creature. The party quickly outmaneuvered the thieves. They defeated the dragon and all of her minions after she sort of dropped the pretense of disguise and revealed herself to be a dragon with emerald green scales. And we return tonight to the immediate aftermath of the battle. The survivors in the crowd of bidders are all like hiding under or behind their seats, or like trying to duck down in like the lower part of the stairs. The auctioneer is frantically trying to account for all 4 of the magic relics after managing to snatch the sort of like glimmery, starry cape out of Seraphina's hands that had pretty easily distracted her from the battle. With a ritual spell, he drops the magical barrier dome that had protected the central stage. Just as the venue guards come bursting through those locked doors. They had been previously magically locked until the dragon seemed to take her last breath and left this realm of existence. You see 2 of the guards very quickly start surveying survivors, kind of patting people down as people begin rushing out the exit in sort of residual panic. 4 other guards pushed kind of through that like onslaught of people, going down toward the stage, trying to help the auctioneer, basically just trying to figure out what the hell has happened in this room. Behind the guards, a massive Goliath woman. She's got like gray skin that just kind of peeks out where the purple paint has sort of dried and cracked that she wears from the top of her shaved head down to what you can see of her shoulders. She's wearing a very rich maroon velvet gown with this like luxurious long cape behind her. It has like these silver armored pieces adorning the shoulders and like an armored belt cinching the waist of the gown. And she moves with big authority into the room and very immediately makes note of all of your positions around this deceased dragon body. She takes in the distinct lightning-shaped burn marks spreading out from the body. She kind of surveys all of you, and I think Zada, Seraphina, and Killian, who are all just kind of standing over the body in this last moment, having your sort of life been shocked before your eyes with this lightning bolt that went off near all of you. And her voice booms over the sort of panicked. It's not quite screaming of the crowd. The crowd are, I don't know how to say this. They're very poised as people. It was a very rich crowd of folks in here who are raised not to make a fuss over things, but it is a panicked murmur sort of as the crowd really thins out and people rush out those doors trying to escape. And her voice booms out, "Stay where you are!" And she gives a really intimidating kind of glare at each of the 3 of you in particular before she kind of veers off to the side and steps up onto the stage. Sort of leaving you to process for a moment. She strides over to the auctioneer, who's now kind of crouched, clutching all 4 magic items and just trembling and sobbing audibly, harshly. She like kneels and wraps a kind of gentle arm around him. His shoulders are heaving, and she is just like kind of quietly murmuring to him until he like eventually like takes a few deep breaths, like sort of coached by her. She's like, and out and in. And she's kind of helping him get through this small panic attack as he's just like clutching all of these magic items and freaking out all. He eventually kind of settles. She helps him stand and sort of passes him off handily to one of the guards. She takes some of the relics from him gently and places them back on the display table. And the security guard kind of leads him up the stairs very slowly on very shaky legs. Back out into the lobby. And by now, the only surviving patrons in the room are those with like grave injuries from being in the crossfire of battle. And they're kind of being triaged by some of the guards now. Finally, this Goliath woman kind of turns back toward you all with like a big heaving sigh, crosses her arms, and just like raises an expectant eyebrow at each of you, who are notably like the calm people in the room, right? You stand out, plus you didn't sweep out with the crowd, unless anybody says otherwise, I suppose. And she just is standing up on, like, she's literally this tall, imposing Goliath woman, but she's also now standing up on this stage, looking down at you all, kind of waiting for an explanation.
We were here for an auction, and then a dragon attacked. Well, we didn't think she wasn't a dragon at the start. She was a woman. She locked the door. We kind of found out she was trying up to something, and then she started, killing people and stopped it.
A dragon walked into my auction hall and locked the door and started killing people. That's the story?
Yeah, that's pretty much. I think they were after like the artifacts or whatever, but
Oh,
I just wanted to punch the dragon.
You can ask your auctioneer. He saw the whole thing.
People too. They saw the whole thing too. There's a lot of other people, not just us. We just happened to clock that there's people actually casing the room. Well, I didn't. I would have to say that was good job on. I think it was Marway. I think that's the one that picked it up the most.
Hello.
That one is
Milo.
Marway.
I loathe that one. And as she's listening, she's like taking in the scene. She's like, roll perception, Sada.
23.
Okay. You note the quickness of her glances around the room as you're telling the story. She's taking in the door handles, the dome that has come up and left. She's kind of, you see something similar to like sort of the look on Killian's face when he's trying to, or when he finds himself noticing things that are like particularly demonic. It's very similar to like when Maraway casts Detect Magic. It sort of looks like that. It's a bit of a magical perception that she has, and it's so quick. She sort of, you can see her just visually picking up all the different pieces of the puzzle of what happened here while listening to you very simply explain what happened. And you see her, it's sort of a micro expression, but her acceptance of your side of the story. Just based on the evidence of what she's looking at. And she comes back to look at each of you, takes in a big variety of people here, of the 7 of you, and she says, who invited you to the auction tonight?
We didn't really invite, we just kind of came, I think.
You just wandered in.
Yeah, we just wanted to
Off
see if
the
we could
street.
pick up some magical artifacts. We were told that there would be some magical dillions or something, and we were like, well, we have some gold. Let's go see if we can buy it. And then we really didn't have that kind of gold for any of those things. Although we did see a quill like that before, the one that you had. It wasn't made out of a phoenix feather. It was made out of like a demon's quill that like binds your like talking, and like you have to tell the truth and bound to it. It's pretty cool. I tried to break it, didn't really break though. But anyways, yeah, that was about it.
Well, personally, I was told that there was going to be snacks here, and I mean, like maybe you need to rethink the whole tiny snack thing.
Yeah, Lily was not
They're not
impressed.
very filling.
The free
mean-
drinks were really good though. They did have
Yeah.
good drinks.
You have to take like a whole tray just to get like one mouthful, and that's a lot.
Going to try to understand here. You all just killed a dragon that attempted to rob my auction,
Uh-huh.
and your concern at this moment is the tiny appetizers that I served tonight. Is
Well,
that
like-
is that the gist that I'm getting?
Well, the dragon's
but
already
like-
dead, so it's not a worry
Protecting people
anymore.
is
Like-
it's kind of what we do.
Yeah, and like 2 days ago we were in the hells, so like this is nothing.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I don't know what to make of any of what you just told me. I have a bit of a crisis to deal with here, obviously. This is not a good look for the business. You all do this, what, for a living? You're mercenaries, you're travelers, what?
But mercenaries would work pretty well. Yeah, we get hired to do certain things.
I like to
Yeah.
think of it more as protectors.
Sometimes.
Most of us are protectors.
Overall do-gooders would also be a good title for most of us.
Sure.
Do-gooders. That's cool.
A bunch of do-gooders
Mhm.
were in here defeating the dragon, while every guard that I have, and she looks around the room, my paid security detail, were not. Interesting! And you all get that kind of residual secondhand embarrassment of seeing someone else get reamed by their boss for not doing their job.
Pardon me, but do you believe in destiny? perhaps we were meant to meet. Is there something we can help you with?
I believe you've helped me with my problem of the current week. Destiny is complicated. What I do believe is that you can affect your destiny, and what I'm seeing right now, if I leave things stand as they are, the trust of my fellow citizens will not be in my ability to keep them safe anymore. However, we can affect our destinies together in this moment like good business owners do. While my paid security may have been outside, who's to say you all weren't undercover security? And I was prepared for anything, truly.
Well, if we're on your payroll, I'm sure it could look that way.
Well, it certainly could, and I don't date when I hire people, so... And she kind of, like, looks back to her guards and says, get outside and triage these people, to treat them outside, please. Go. And she, like, waits a moment for them to leave, and she leans in, steps down from the stage and leans in and says, what would it take for you to, be contracted hire mercenaries for tonight's event retroactively?
Seraphina steps up and she leans over and says, there is this very shimmery cloak. Is there anything there? The black one?
She's got balls. I will say that.
I can appreciate a strong negotiator. However, I fear the cloak is not mine to sell. This was an auction. I do believe we've been sitting here for nigh on an hour by the time all of this occurred. Has it sold? I wasn't even in the room.
There is something else you could probably do for us. There's this lovely little library, and we're having a little bit of trouble getting access to certain books that we're looking for, and maybe if you could help us expedite that process, that would be more than sufficient payment.
And bigger snacks.
That too.
The bigger snacks, I will absolutely put into practice. Thank you, my lady. As far as the Athenaeum goes, I'm sorry. I'm quite sorry, my dear. I just don't hold that kind of sway.
Do you know who does?
Well, your best bet would be, if you're trying to get to the entirety of the library, if you will, you would have to get direct authorization from one of the three of the Triumvirate. The Council of Three. I'm sorry?
Could you introduce us?
Could I introduce you? She thinks for a moment. See, my dear, I don't know any of the three personally. They rule a kingdom, you understand. A triumvirate altogether. I could potentially get you a meeting with... The closest I could get you would be a meeting with one of the seat holders on the Chamber of Trade in Nerdistan. Strangely enough, the woman who helped me acquire the cape that you were interested in. Have you been to Nerdistan? Do you know the Lord and Lady of Nerdistan? Sorry, they're not technically the Lord and Lady. The counselor.
Seraphina. Do you know who
Seraphina,
she's talking about?
Lady who's been here before.
Oh, my dear, are you from Nerdistan? I thought you had an original accent.
Just ring it up.
Oh my... Seraphina is bright red. She... Oh my goodness. I may have heard of this Lord and Lady of which you speak.
Oh, yes, this is the illustrious Lady Blackthorn.
The coincidence of coincidences, perhaps destiny is real. Lady Lysandra is one of my very good trade partners. She helps acquire many of the items that we sell here at auction.
Oh yes, I'm very familiar with her.
Are you familiar? Your family. You're one of the Vilos Blackthorns. Are you not? Are you a cousin? Did you marry into the family? How exciting! What a small world.
No, she is my mother. Yes.
Mira's still hiding between two chairs, down like leaning against the wall, and she's like, "Yeah, that's like totally her mom."
Seraphina's just like sweating profusely.
What happy coincidence that you could actually come and see your parents while we're here?
Sorry, dear. I mean, I don't believe she's in town. I suppose you would know better than I do. Is she in Ocelot, or is she up at the tower, at the minaret?
Oh, she's at home. I am in close contact with her at all times.
Oh, goodness, a close family. We love to see it. My dear, I mean, I didn't know you were practically family. You're one of us. That's incredible. I mean, listen, to be true, I cannot give you the cape. That's beyond my scope of influence. I can't get you inner access to the Athenaeum. I wish I could. I am just simply not that important. I own a venue. I'm a former opera singer. I don't have much to offer. What I could offer you is 1,000 gold pieces for your help tonight.
Totally. Take that.
I would be incredibly grateful if you could never ever mention this to your dear mother.
Oh, can we get like VIP tickets in case we want to come back? Like when we have more money to like do stuff? Do we have like? Can we get like preferential treatment or something?
My dear, you will have the best seats in the house at any event of mine that you attend.
Perfect.
Well, I think then we have an understanding of complicit untruths about the events that transpired tonight.
Well, I think we should at least know the name of our employer.
Quote unquote.
Quite rude. Kavalak Wisehand Ogolelo, at your service. Gives you a deep, very poised curtsy. I'll go ahead and send you all that name in the Discord
Oh,
chat.
thank God.
That was a lot.
I got like a syllable of it written down, and then the rest of it just gone.
Mark.
Did she say armadillo? That's what I heard.
Lock lives.
It was only one letter off of the first name.
She says, I am the owner and proprietor of the Wandering Rostrum, and now I have contracted you to be my hired security for the night, as far as anybody knows, and I can take full credit for keeping those who managed to survive the attack alive.
Oh, I
And
also
I thank you
want
kindly
a
for the
couple of
pleasure.
Dragon scales and a tooth. Is that okay? Because like I killed it. Well, Maraway killed it. Actually, Uthama killed it. But I did punch the crap out of it, and I would really like some scales.
You punched the crap out of a dragon, and you would
Yeah.
like some... Well, I can't argue with that logic.
It was more like you
Have it.
spanked it.
They were thunderclaps, so I was clapping them cheeks, I guess.
I don't think I culturally understand the phrase. Is that some sort of colloquial term you use where you're from?
Sure.
Very commonly and in terms.
Yeah, yep. It's when you get like elemental benders and you start hitting with thunder damage, and it's on the backside. It's called thunderclapping. Yep.
I'll have to find reason to use that term in my daily conversations. Thank you.
Oh God. Above table. This, just because my own goldfish memory doesn't remember, was this an acid dragon or a poison dragon?
So roll a nature check. I told you on multiple accounts she had like a sort of breath magic kind of thing, but I didn't say exactly what. But I think you were all taking poison
Bro.
damage.
It was.
Oh, it's a dirty, filthy 20.
Ooh,
Mm.
dirty.
The best
That's
kind.
Okay. A thunderclap 20.
I can't. Sorry, I'm looking up the mod that block. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing and have you guess wrong. With that dirty 20, you would recognize this as an emerald dragon.
Oh shit.
They are quite cunning, very manipulative. They do have the ability to sort of shape change in a big way that seems to have easily allowed her to slip in unnoticed with a group of lackeys. Famously super into hoarding magical items. That's something very specifically interesting to them.
Okay.
So that being
know.
said, she gives you leave to dismember the dragon body before she starts to have her people come and start to clean up. But she does.
No,
She's
all good.
watching you. Sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
remembering now it was force, not acid or poison. I was gonna harvest its poison or acid glands, but I don't think there's a force gland. So.
Not so much. No, I don't think that's something the human body or the dragon body makes. Yeah. So go ahead and add to your inventory. Anybody else who wants to collect a particular trophy or some other part of this? It's a young emerald dragon.
Yeah, Killian will grab. He'll grab just like a scale, and using some of the glass vials that he has, he'll collect a vial of its blood.
Oh, you're into that blood magic, eh? Some weird stuff you got there going on, Killian.
Take it easy, thunderclap.
Mira has started to sort of emerge from her hiding place, being super not useful for a sorceress who was very classically trained in mage practices. And she's like, well, this has been super duper fun. And also really terrifying. I think I'm gonna have to talk to my therapist about this on Tuesday. That being said, I'm going to go home and go to sleep. For a while, probably. She looks very traumatized by this whole thing. And she looks at Seraphine and she goes, I will see you later.
You should definitely ask Seraphina how the hells were, just if you want to get a little bit more of what she's been into. She's been in hell lately, so, that could be a fun
You're
time.
funny.
That was funny. I guess so many jokes out of it. That's great.
I don't think I get your whole thing, man. I gotta go to sleep, I think. I'm gonna have a drink. Yeah. I'll see you. Are you coming? Come see me at work. Okay. And she just very awkwardly and stiffly and avoiding puddles of blood from the robbers and just the look of deer in headlights trauma on her face makes her way out of the room.
I don't think your friend's going to be good for the adventuring life. I'm just saying right now.
She just has a lot to learn. She's getting there. Not to worry.
Kitten Mary says,
Is she?
not everyone is built for a life of rugged adventure as we are, eh?
Yeah, I'm going to even say Kittenberry has more spine than that one does at this point, and that's saying something.
Cute. Pretty kind. Okay, anybody else do any other investigating things here? At this point, Kavalak is she watched you guys take some different things from the dragon body and is now standing much closer to it. Sort of in a guard stance, and she's you can see her speaking and she casts a spell and it looks like the message spell. Yeah, but at this point she's kind of noticed that, oh yeah, dragon bodies are valuable for a lot of reasons. So she's like, yeah, I'm just gonna stand here and make sure this doesn't go anywhere while my friends come and help me figure this out. Okay, do you guys head out?
Might as well.
I think show's over.
Okay.
On the way out, while the guards are triaging people, Killian just wants to kind of go by people that maybe have more severe injuries than others, and he just wants to use lay on hands to help mitigate some of that seriousness of any injuries that they have. He'll spend as much health as he kind of needs to. I think I get like 15 lay on hands points remaining.
That's quite helpful, especially for the people who were bystanders of like the breath attacks, things like that. There are a couple people who are like on the verge at this point. There's quite a few dead bodies, just fully dead people. But you do help bring back the people who really need stabilization in this moment. And medics are starting to, as you guys are leaving after that, medics are starting to arrive. Some different clerics from around the city, and several city guards are showing up at this point. As you guys sort of make your way out, trying to be a little bit less noticeable. And you had originally gone to the Sandy Snowman and had dinner, stole a birthday dinner from a lady from the restaurant downstairs. I don't think you ever like reserved a room or really spoke to anybody about that. So you have overnight accommodations to make. It's now well into the evening, probably like 8:30, 9 o'clock ish. But you have your run of Oslo.
Yeah, do we want to go to the place that we just kind of died and dashed at, or should we just go somewhere else?
Probably better to go somewhere else, I'd imagine.
Probably. Let's go find somewhere nicer, that's still close by, I guess. We got like 1,000 gold. Spend it a little bit on a nice room. Rooms? Whatever.
Okay. Okay, how do you want to go about finding a different place to stay? Do you want to ask around? Do you want to just walk until you see a place?
What time is it roughly? You said like late into the
Like
evening?
9.
Yeah, like 8:30 or 9ish.
Okay.
Past dark. It's like the weather here. You're in a very it's sort of like a jungle temperate climate. So it's like balmy. It's starting to cool down now that the sun is down, but like the days are nice and warm. So the weather is quite nice tonight. It's humid, but it's pretty nice, like 74 degrees out at this moment.
I mean, I can track us down a spot if you want. If anybody's got a better idea.
Well, we could just ask those guards right over there at the auction. There's a lot of them.
Why would we want to? Yeah, why would we want to ask people? That's gross. Find it yourself.
Would Serafina might know a
Oh,
good
sure.
place to stay?
Yeah, sure. I think she would. Roll history with advantage. You've been here before.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh.
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 Hold on, sorry.
You're good.
Actually,
We'll all just keep going, woo!
Ooh.
oh,
She's
God. Hold on, let me try one
thinking
more time.
really hard right now. The gears are
He's warming
turning.
up to die.
There we
Oh,
go.
Oh, add 20 to
my,
that roll.
my memory was very, very slow at first. I'm cataloging all of the places.
Yeah.
Finally, yes.
What was your roll?
21.
21.
Eventually. Yeah.
Eventually, yes. Okay, you're thinking back. I think Serafina would probably not be super interested in taking everybody to somewhere where you'll be as easily recognized as you seem to be all over this city so far. So you're like, you take a second to really think like, okay, what's a place that's nice that I actually want to stay at, but that I'm not, I don't know the people who work there or the people staying there.
Yeah.
You come up with this spot that you once stayed after this like really crazy masquerade party that you went to. You were like so drunk that it was like almost a brownout. Like you were very loose that night, and you went home with a couple friends back to this pub called the Familiar Drum. And you remember it quite fondly because they had a band with no singer, a bunch of bards. And if you requested a song, they would play the music and they would let you sing the song in something that they called karaoke. And it was really fun. So yeah, you think of the Familiar Drum and they have nice rooms. You slept in one once. You remember it being comfortable. It's passable.
Okay, so she's thinking really hard and like, trying to like remember from her brown and be like, oh, we should go to the Familiar Drum. That place is so fun. I think you guys are gonna love it.
Oh,
Good a place as any.
yeah.
Well.
As long as they have a good drink waiting for us.
What are
And
they?
no tiny snacks.
What are they known for? There, they
Drinks
seem
and bigger
excited.
snacks.
They have bigger snacks than they had at the auction, and you get to sing on stage. So we're all gonna get up there and we're gonna sing our favorite songs, and it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I'm really tired. So.
No,
Yeah,
you're gonna love it.
work
You're gonna
for me.
love it. You're gonna
Yeah.
love it.
Maybe we'll
You
just
say
turn
that
in.
now, but once you get there, you'll get the vibe. It's fine.
Okay. So you make your way through the city trying to recall, like, you have to first take them to the original party, the house where the masquerade ball was that you were at that night, and then trace your steps from there back to where the actual pub is. And you get there, and it's one of those places that really starts to get going in the later evening. So there's like a line out the door a little bit. There is like a separate entrance for just the like inn rooms, the upstairs inn. The line is really to get into the actual tavern of the establishment. So you're welcome to proceed to either way. You can go and rent your rooms and then head down to the bar. You can just go straight to bed. You guys kind of have options.
I think we should go to the bar first.
Man, those
Yeah.
rooms could check
Yeah.
out any point in time. I better go get those right now.
I think that would be wise. Maybe
Yeah.
have a place to stumble to after we get out of said bar, just in
right,
case things
right.
get a little exciting.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely need to get rooms first.
But are we definitely meeting at the bar after we check in?
Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
We will all be
Right
there.
now,
Exotic
I think
included.
Marway's social battery, his ability to hold back the flood of emotions that he has, is kind of at its peak, and so I think he's just gonna go to bed. He's ready to just curl up underneath the bed and let his emotions be emotions.
Okay. So you guys go up the stairs, and there's just like a small office up there that they use to check out the rooms or rent out the rooms. And there's a nice little halfling lady at the counter. Hi, dearies. How many rooms do you need tonight?
5?
7, please.
No, Marley doesn't keep his own room, so it'd just be
Oh,
Marway will be
6?
with me.
yeah, it's 5 or 6. Whatever.
Chiffon needs her own room, or Kittenberry, I should say.
I thought she would just like bunk up with Seraphina at this point, but yeah, she could have her own room if she wants.
I assumed you were inviting me to stay in your rooms, Atta, but it's okay. I'll stay with Seraphina.
oh, you can stay with me. We'll have 5
Okay.
rooms.
Fun. And the halfling kind of like watches all of your goofy banter. You all look very sleepy, very worn out, and she's, used to this kind of crowd this time of night. And she pulls out a bunch of keys with pretty little ribbons tied on each one. The ribbons are each a different color. And she says, the ribbon on your key corresponds to the door. Head down the hallway. You'll find your rooms. Do you need any help?
Snacks. Bula needs lots of snacks before she goes to sleep, and drinks for us. On everybody, I think.
Well, I fear our server who takes things from downstairs to upstairs is gone for the night. But you are welcome to head down. If you go through the back entrance, the back staircase at the end of the hallway, that takes you directly to the bar. You can skip the line once you have your rooms paid for.
Okay.
And they'll be serving food all night.
Perfect.
Okay, so as you guys disperse and find your rooms, who stays in your rooms? Marway, you go to bed. Who else goes straight to bed? And who goes downstairs?
Goes to bed. Locks the door.
Bula's gonna tuck Marway in and make sure that he is comfy, has his bear, and she's gonna lock the door and take the key with her so that nobody can get into him.
Killian, Eidos.
Killian will kind of put his stuff down there. He'll still have the chain on him, but he'll head downstairs.
That's a whole look.
Yeah, it is. Very cool.
Eidos is thirsty.
Kittenberry. Ready
Oh,
to
Kittenberry.
go.
Kittenberry is like, she's like just really like straightening her whiskers. Like, she says, I really do love getting ready for the party.
Let's go downstairs.
Okay. So the four of you head downstairs, sort of together. Some of you take a couple more minutes to get ready and get cute again. But you all find each other this bar. As you walk down the stairs, you're at the end of a hallway. There's two like restroom sort of stall areas in the hallway. You can hear the bar from down there. There's someone singing just an atrocious rendition of "Hoist the Sails High, Boys." It is, and yet the crowd is all like sort of singing along. It is loud. It's a very small space as you come down this hallway past the bathrooms and see the whole room. It's really just kind of two rooms with a big entryway in between. There's a makeshift stage set up and the bar is very adjacent to it. You can see like the front door, there's the line outside. They've just got the door propped open, and as people come in, as people leave, other people get to come in. And it's like almost like elbow to elbow standing room only. Like people are dancing, people are singing. The floor is very sticky. Like it is humid, and the floor is, I don't even want to say sticky. It's because it's so humid. It's not like a dry stickiness. It's like a slippery sticky. You know what I mean?
Ew.
Yeah.
You need like an athletics check to navigate.
All that being said, there is a smaller sized Aarakocra girl up in the rafters, and she's wearing an apron, and she's got like in her natural sort of, she has like a pigeon coloring sort of, these like very natural grays and whites, but she has little glittery things all in different shades of red, just like sort of adorning her whole body, just stuck in her feathers. Just looking pretty cute. And she's up in the rafters, jumping from rafter to rafter and like dropping food for people that they ordered, and then like talking to someone else and seeing what they want. So she's sort of doing crowd service with different snacks and drinks and things. Because the bar is there's two humans behind the bar just working their butt off, sweating, trying to pour drinks as quickly as they can.
Fiona will turn to group and say, I'm gonna put everybody's name down for the next song, and she just runs away before anyone can object.
There always has to be someone who does it.
Is there an
go
empty
ahead.
table somewhere around?
An empty table? Not so much. A table that only two people are sort of standing at and camping out on, just leaning against, like a standing high table, where you could easily just sort of crowd around it as well. Definitely.
One of those.
Oh yeah, very much one of those.
Eidos will go to the bar and try to order a couple of rounds.
Cool.
Bula's gonna come up behind Eidos because he clearly can't get to the bar. And she's gonna take her big old orcish elbows and elbow herself towards the bar, and then just like rest herself on the bar to get the attention of the bar workers.
Okay. Roll. I'll let you choose either persuasion or performance as you try to non-verbally get a bartender to come give you drinks as quickly as possible, or food, or both.
Okay, you said persuasion or performance. They are equally terrible because charisma.
Delicious.
So that's gonna be an 11.
An 11. Okay. That combined with your size and pushing through the crowd pretty easily. One of the bartenders, only takes a couple minutes for one of them to like give you that nonverbal like, "What do you need, hun?" kind of thing.
So she says, "I'll take the biggest mug of mead that you've got. Make
Biggest mug mead. Anything else, honey?
Make that. How many of there are? Is 5. Make that 5. She doesn't
All
care
right.
if y'all want meat or not. That's what you're getting."
All right,
Yeah.
and they're already pouring from the tap. Any food or anything? We got soft pretzels. We got leg of lamb.
I want one of everything.
Sure. Okay. Yells out, "One of everything, Chad!" And there's like this window to like this very small, very greasy looking kitchen, like steam just rolling out of that open window. And there's like a half-orc guy, and he's like, "Fuck it, everything! Okay!" He just starts slapping shit onto plates.
And then as she gets the big mugs of mead, she's handing them back to Eidos, but like really not paying attention. like sloshing on him, just handing him. His hands are already full. She's still handing him another one. Like,
And there's only, by the time they stop taking them, there's only 4 of you and you ordered 5, so you're holding 2. Which I assume Bula wanted, or is happy about.
oh, always.
Okay. And after a whole bunch of food has been piled up in that window, he plops them all down on the counter and kind of like shoos you away and looks at the person behind you to keep taking orders. And by that time, Seraphina, you had wandered off to sign up. You did sign up on the book next to the band. Put down some songs that you think everybody will know. And then you spot Bula kind of above the crowd. You have to like jump to see her over people, but she's out there. And Bula, at the same moment, you realize Eidos has kind of like wormed his way in and sort of like nudged people over so that you guys have a table to stand and eat at.
She sees the last lingering people that are not in their group trying to hang on to the table, and she just comes over and belches just the loudest, like as close to their face as she possibly can.
Roll intimidation. I should almost make you roll an attack.
It's only an 8. She wasn't properly bubbled up yet.
Okay, that's actually good, because if it was too high, they were going to try and fight you, but instead they are just grossed out, so they're like, come on, this place is like getting way too crazy. And they make their way away through the crowd, and you guys have managed to snag yourself like a 6-top table standing room. But now you have somewhere to lay all your plates and start snacking. The night goes on. What they call the ancient art of karaoke. The band is passable at playing songs that people know. Although you do notice that the same song has been sang by like 5 different people 5 different times. Like, it's called Mrs. Darkside.
I was just gonna say, is it just Journey? Is it just Journey?
Everybody loves Mrs. Darkside. Yeah. Yeah, but you guys you're having a good time. The Aarakocra, whenever she sees your drinks are getting empty, she comes, she takes the glass, and a couple seconds later she's back with a new one of whatever you ordered. And it's a fun night. Do you guys wanna Well, first of all, Seraphina, what song did you sign up for you guys to sing?
Looking at chat off above the table, I suppose it's a Jimmy Buffett song.
Oh boy.
Jimmy Buffett. Wow.
Oh, dude.
Fantasy Jimmy Buffett.
Yes, Jimmy Buffett exists in this universe. This makes sense.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he is this, like, they call him, like, a Western continent singer. He kind of does beach rock? Yeah.
Rock. Yeah.
No, beach rock.
Sure.
It's very chill, kind of vacation vibes, which would make sense for Seraphina to be a fan of Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just like a human. He's not even really a bard. People just know who he is because he's just like this cute old guy who sings beach music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so you guys are announced. All 4 of your names are called. Kittenberry is definitely going up there. She's like the first through the crowd. She's like, "It's me!" as she walks up there. Takes the like little like magic. It's kind of like a sending stone, but little magical amplifiers for your voice. Takes one of them right from the band members and is like waiting for you all to get up there, and she's like clearing her throat when you all approach the stage. Do you all go up there, all 4 of you?
Yes.
Killian wants
Absolutely not.
Killian wants a stealth away. Just like grabs the drink comes out, he just grabs it, just disappears into the crowd.
I need Killian to do a stealth roll. And I need Seraphina to do a perception roll. Perception save.
What?
Kittenberry is the blue girl.
Okay. That is the dirtiest 20.
I have a critical.
Oh.
Hers are all natural, my friend.
Yes, I have a 21. Nat 20.
So sorry, Killian. You try to stealth away, but she clocks it immediately and grabs onto your arm. So you could try and fight her to get away, but she's got you by the sleeve.
We're going up.
I will make sure to death grip Ados.
You just have to stand there for 3 minutes until it's over. Just kind of open and close your mouth, and it'll be over soon enough. Trust me, I've done this 1,000 times.
And Seraphina showing a physical feat of strength like none of you have seen before, which is to grab two grown men and pull them bodily up onto the stage. Go ahead and all four of you roll performance with advantage because all four of you are up there.
Nailed this.
I performed as expected.
Ooh, nice.
Well, Killing at 21 for his performance.
Rounded out by Bula's 1.
Killian, you're
She just belched into the microphone.
Oh yeah. The crowd
Killian was
loved
just
it.
pretending to be bashful, but he knows every single lyric. He's not even looking at the magic words coming on the screen.
The minor illusion of the words.
Yeah.
It's the most intense lip sync battle you'll ever see.
It's definitely gonna be an unconvincing lip sync battle for me. I got an 11.
An 11.
Yeah.
Sarah.
Serafina has a 17.
17. Nice. Okay. It's pretty widespread of abilities here. Yeah, Bula, you just belch into the mic, but the crowd really loves it. They're like, that should have been written in the song all along. Belch, belch, belch. Yeah, it's you guys are a sight to behold. Kittenberry rolled only a 10, just so you guys know. She is drunk. She's had 2 ales and is drunk. Her nose is like bright red. She's like, her eyes are very watery and wide. She's swaying to the music, forgetting all the words, even though she's looking at the minor illusion of the words up above. She's there for the vibes only. Yeah, you guys do a great rendition of Mrs. Darkside. And the night, rolls on exactly how you would expect. Y'all drink a little too much, you laugh a lot, you sing along to some of the songs you know, you yell at some of the songs you hate, and boo people. It's a great time. Marway, anything interesting happening upstairs while the rest are down partying?
I don't think so. I think pretty much after Bula leaves, he would get his journal out and start writing, and then kind of lay his head down and hold on to Sir Lavender, knowing that it's about to be battle time for him.
How about Zada? Anything with you?
Zada's going to be working on a few little charms for everybody. Since they just killed their first dragon, he's going to make little trinkets for everybody. Just a little war trophies for everybody. And one especially for Uthamer, since he got the kill. Going to have a little dragon scale that he can put on his horn.
Very nice. Roll sleight of hand as you make these little trinkets.
Sleight of hand... not great. 8.
Okay. I mean, you're working on them slowly, you're taking your time, you want to make them good. They're just not quite finished by the time you're ready to pass out for the night. So you just need to work on them again tomorrow, that's fine. Yeah, unless anybody has anything else they want to do tonight, the night wraps up downstairs. I don't know if you guys close down the bar, it stays open pretty late. You're welcome to if you say you do, but you can also head upstairs when you're ready and turn in for the night. After feeling quite successful fighting a dragon today.
Yeah, I will say, Killian, well, he was brought a drink. He will not have had anything to drink that night. In fact, he would have probably at some point, while Bula wasn't looking, brought the drink back to the bar and just got water. Fill up the mug with water, but just be kind of nursing that all night. Just kind of watching his friends cut loose.
Ados definitely drinks Killian's share. I think he's going hard in the paint. I think at one point, sorry, Robin, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Finish up.
Ados was trying to lean over to Seraphina and kind of yell above the crowd. Say, why are you being so weird about your parents? Aren't you excited to see them?
I think it's gonna be weird to go home. I think we need to find another way into this Hall of Echoes. I don't.
No, this is perfect. They can get us in. Probably a lot faster than, breaking and entering and going to jail for a few nights. Why would it be weird?
Just being at home's a weird vibe. You remember? It's
Yeah, they're wonderful
strange
people.
and oh gosh,
Strange.
maybe for you.
I've been to your house. It's a beautiful house. Your parents are nice. What's strange about it?
I mean, yeah, they like you.
Oh, they like you, Seraphina. Not this again.
No, it's weird. I think we should have a heist and go to the Hall of Echoes and get whatever we need and just be on our way.
You'd rather commit a capital offense than go say hello to your parents and ask them for a quick favor? It'll be fine. I think you're sucking yourself up. It's probably not as bad as you think it is. It's just parents. Parents are awkward.
Yeah, you want to go home? You want to go home? Okay.
You know that's different.
I don't think so. I'm not feeling it right now.
Okay. Good luck to us, I suppose. I didn't realize things were that bad at home.
I think the group will think it'll be fun to break into the Hall of Echoes. I think Zada's gonna love it.
Okay, I noticed
He's
you
gonna
switched
have
from...
a good time.
Yeah, I agree with that. I noticed you switched from group to Zada as you thought more about that sentence as you were saying it. And it became more true as it went on. What if we put it to a vote? Wait, maybe if the majority of us want to go talk to your parents, would you be okay with it? Or are you that against it?
I mean, I don't know if that's fair because I feel like it's only gonna be weird for me.
Fair. What if I go visit them?
You're just gonna go by yourself to my
Sure.
house.
And
Okay.
have
Yeah.
tea with Lysandra, and yeah, it'll be great. I used to do it all the time when I would come to visit.
Shh, I'll think about it.
It's-
That's really weird too.
It's up to you. I don't want to make you. Oh, is she frozen for everybody else too?
Oh wait, am I frozen?
No, she's good. I just had a little glitchiness, but no, she's good.
Okay, can you say it again?
I forgot what I was saying.
Ada says, "What? So I'm here."
I'll think about it.
Okay, only do what you're comfortable with.
Thank you.
Okay. Bula, what are you doing all night? Out of the
So
bar.
Bula makes sure, of course, she's got all of her big plates of snacks, and she's eating all the meat, and she's taking all the vegetables, and she's sticking them in her the purse of holding that she has, because she, just in case Marway gets hungry. So she takes all her vegetables upstairs and goes in and kind of lays down, and she just has them on this nasty little napkin. And she just kind of sets it down on the floor, and then she kind of passes out across the bed, but she makes sure that her hand is under the bed and she can kind of feel that Marway is down there.
As we're, I guess, leaving, Killian will want to try and get Chiffon by herself. Just to ask her something.
Yeah, you can kind of. I mean, she's down there for a good long while, but she does get pretty drunk pretty fast. So she turns in shortly after Bula does, and leaves Seraphina and Ados downstairs, who are having an argument that she does not understand, is not really listening to that closely anyway. So she's like, "I'm going to bed. Good night," and you can kind of say "Oh, okay, me too," and you kind of help lead her out, walk out with her.
Yeah, I'll kind of tail beside her and catch her in the perfect time because she's drunk, and say, Chiffon, do you mind if I ask you something?
Oh, I'd be happy to answer your questions, Killian. Yes, what is it?
And I do not mean any offense when I say this, but what what are your plans?
What are my plans? What an interesting question. I would like very much to continue learning how to support myself. Honestly, Killian, I don't think I have thought that far ahead. I don't know where to go from here, if not following you all. Am I a burden? Am I too much? I could stay here in Azulet. I don't...
The only thing I worry about, Chiffon, is clearly we're getting into some very serious and very seriously dangerous things. We just got back from the Hells, for God's sake. And now, dealing with an unleashed Orin, all these deity relics and demons and things, I just worry about your safety, and I feel like you traveling with us is not the best thing for you. Not the safest thing for you, at the very least.
This kind of sobers her a little, and she sits down on this bench that is in the hallway and where all these rooms' doors are. She kind of fiddles with her hands for a second, and she says, you are right. I do not think I even really understand what it is you all are after. I am new to all of this, and to be quite honest, I've been afraid to say that I do not think I am cut out for this sort of lifestyle. I am not the fighter that you all appear to be, and I consider you all my good close friends now. However, I left my home so that I could make something of myself as an independent person, and I think I have been avoiding that, the work it will take to do so. And I thank you for reminding me that I have a purpose, and it is not necessarily the same as yours.
And I'm not shooing you away or kicking you out or anything like that. I just want you to know what you're getting into if you decide to stay. And just know that your life is not guaranteed here, and I know that you wanted to live a life and make a name for yourself, so I would just hate to see that life ended prematurely.
She takes one of your hands with hers, and she says, you are a good and true friend, Killian. I will think about it, and what I need to do next. And I will let you know when I have a decision, yes?
And yeah, he'll just kind of squeeze her hand back tight and says, of course. Whenever you're ready to tell us, we're ready to listen.
And at this particular moment, I am ready to go sleep across my bed without taking even my shoes off. So I will see you in the morning, okay? Gives you a little kiss on the cheek and stumbles quite bodily into her room.
And Keelan will head back to his... After making sure she gets inside.
Fine. Okay. And you all, at your own time, wrap up for the night. With a whole lot of new information after this day in this major city. And all too soon, as it usually does, the morning dawns. All of your rooms get way too uncomfortably warm very quickly. A lot of the windows are quite, like, I would say drafty. It's not particularly windy. They just don't hold the coolness of the night in the building. The whole upstairs of this building really gets too warm too fast to where just the uncomfortable sweat wakes you up as the sun rises and warms up the building. And you guys are, you start to gather for the morning. Who do you think wakes up first? At this point, the bar is, obviously quiet downstairs. I figured it'd be Marway. You go down, the bar is quite quiet. They've turned it over. There's actually, tables that they have brought out for the actual, inn patrons. They have, a breakfast buffet sort of set up with various, not a lot of stuff, but fruits, and it looks like they've probably, refried some of the food from the night before. And then there's some various, porridges and, a light breakfast spread is put out. Maraway, as you woke up that morning, what did you dream about the night before?
It would have been dreams of sanctuary. It would have been all of my friends being chased and battling off the nightmare creatures that haunt my current home, or my previous home, it would have been Maraway watching without being able to do anything. As he watches his people die.
Yeah. Okay. What are you doing this morning as you head downstairs? You woke up, you found some nice vegetables that have gotten cold overnight that Bula left for you.
And then heat it up again.
Yeah.
I think Maraway, he would crawl out from under Bula's bed, and kind of lift up the arm that she had placed under there and slide Sir Lavender in there to tuck him in so he can get some rest now, and head downstairs and start doing his duty and studying and trying to figure out how to get his people out of a cursed world.
Okay. Killian, Zada, you're probably the next two up if I'm taking a wild guess based on history. What do you two do as you rise and shine this coming morning?
Go for a run and work out. Go sparring, whether it just be like on the roof or somewhere, or just take a run down the, I guess whatever's the closest place, and then know his way back. Try to just time himself to go as fast as possible. And yeah, that would probably be his first thing to wake up. So he didn't drink too much, so he probably is pretty good. He doesn't feel too knocked out.
Yeah. Roll athletics. You kind of do this like sort of a cross country run through the city, through the 4 places you went the night before. Back to the bar that Seraphina had been at the first time she came to this establishment, and then to the auction house, and then to the Athenaeum and back.
13.
13. Okay, yeah. The air is heavy, it's hot, but you do find your rhythm, find your pace. You get in a good workout this morning.
Killian wants to find, like he'll ask the like reception there if there is an area for some sparring, because he does want to get some practice in with the chains, just like a training dummy, or some straw up against a post somewhere that he could smack around.
Yeah. Okay. There's not like the buildings are really close together. This is a pretty big major metropolis. So there's not a lot of like green spaces, so to speak, or like you're in a nicer part of town, so there's not like military training yards, the kind of places you would normally go to find these sort of things. But you do find sort of a small like police outpost area that has a very small yard that you're able to, and it has like up in the back there's sort of this open fenced area that has these different like training equipment, a little bit of like workout gear, things like that you can just kind of wander up and borrow from and get some good training in this yard.
Yeah, so Killian will spend some time familiarizing himself with the chains and how it works, seeing how it's is magical in nature and quite different from what he's used to wielding. Killian's used to using the leather whip, which has a certain weight and feel to it, but this is a chain that's almost like strung together with magic, and he spends the better part of the morning just kind of going through his normal routines that he does with the whip, and just learning the strength that it takes to wield it, to crack it in certain ways that he's used to. And probably not too long after a couple hours of training, he eventually burns that the weight that he needs to swing it into his muscles, and it's not too long after before every strike that he attempts to make, whether it's at the full length or like quickly within just a few feet of him, he gets all of his maneuvers down pat with the chains.
Yeah, it's certainly gonna pay off. It's helpful. One would almost say you're attuned to this magic item after a few hours of this. Okay. How about everybody else? Tell me about your mornings.
Serafina is going to stumble downstairs. She has a terrible hangover. She has just like Glitter Bell cuddled up next to her for comfort, and she kind of just makes her way down to the bar, and she'll use Glitter Bell as a pillow as she rests her head at the bar, ordering some coffee and a light breakfast.
Kittenberry like attempts to sleep in pet through you like getting up and stumbling up and getting your shoes on, but it woke her up, so she comes down like a couple minutes after you do and sits with you and is also just like holding her head on her hand, kind of eyes closed. She has a plate of food in front of her, but she's just like, it's making her a little sick to look at it. Doesn't really eat much.
So Bula wakes up and finds Sir Lavender kind of cuddled there, and she takes a second just to squeeze him and kind of pats him on his head and then puts him in her bag there to make sure that he's safe and he's with them and he's not going to get left behind. And then she'll come downstairs and she'll see them two at the bar just like this. And of course, you know, she didn't drink more than she always does. She comes down, she just like slaps them both on the back. She says, "Morning, what's for breakfast?"
Kittenberry like audibly cries a little.
Serafina just tries not to throw up.
She just kind of scoots in between them and gets a big plate of something and starts eating and looks around and makes sure that she kind of clocks where Maraway is and just eats as much as she can get her hands on.
Ados, that leaves you.
Oh, yeah. I think Ados is probably woken up by realizing that his pillow is wet as the bottle of wine that he was sipping on as a nightcap in his bed had poured over in the middle of the night. And yeah, so he wakes up, face half purple with wine, and he's just like slowly and very hungoverly just trying to wash some of it off his face in a basin, you know, eventually just dunking his head inside the basin itself, trying to refresh and restart and make himself presentable to go downstairs. And eventually he does, and just gets a cup of coffee and sits there quietly, not really looking at anybody or talking.
Serafina will, seeing Ados coming downstairs, she'll walk up to Ados and, you know, seeing that there's just like a little bit of wine on his shirt still from last night, and this morning, she'll prestidigitate him and just say, "Hey, how's it going?"
Thanks. Yeah, it's going well. I think I've had more than my fair share, but I'll make it. How are you?
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I just want to say I'm sorry for yelling at you last night. And
Were you yelling at me? I don't remember that.
well, you know, we were just talking about, you know, going home, and yeah, you're right. You know, going home for you is not the same as going home for me at all, and you know, I just want to say I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. I have tough skin. Not to worry about me, but I appreciate the apology. We're having a good time, so no harm, no foul. So, did you think more about visiting your parents? Have you changed your mind? It's okay if you don't want to.
Do we have another option? Do you think you still wanna do the heist?
Oh no, I never ever once did. No, but it seems to be our only option unless we want to become monks over the next few years and gain access, and then, you know, lose sight of our goals and just be monks at the end and never have a good time again. Yeah, so it looked like the breaking and entering was our only option, and that it might still be. So I'm resigned to it more than want to do it.
Okay, well, we can pull the group like you suggested last night. So I think that's good.
I'll let you take the lead on it.
All right.
We just got out of hell. Surely prison can't be worse.
So Bula picks up a piece of fruit. She kind of sees, Eidos is, just sipping his coffee and clearly has had too much. She just picks up a piece of fruit. She just chucks it like right at his forehead and says, "Eat something, you'll feel better." Just like flats on his forehead.
I'd also take the piece of cantaloupe off his forehead and just kind of eat it, and wipe the cantaloupe slime off, and I'm working on it. And you'll go gather some fruit, just like approximately 8 grapes, and slowly eat those. So what's the plan then? The heist is tomorrow? Is that what Mira said? I also wasn't expecting Mira. I mean, she wasn't cool in school, but she seems to have gotten worse.
She did say you have one more night before the monks leave. So
we
it'll be...
have a festival to entertain Maraway or something? What do we do today?
We could go back to the library.
Reading. Yeah, I suppose we could.
I mean, you could read, or you could do a little bit of recon before the day of the actual breaking in.
Actually, that might be a good idea. Plus, I have a little project that I might work on. Maybe I'll meet you all there at the library.
What's your
entire day.
project?
Well, and you'll pull out one of the 3 vials of black ichor blood. Actually, I guess it's just mystery fluid that they got from the Crimson Vault. I found it in one of the chests. It's like, I want to figure out what this is and see if I can make some use of it. Who knows? It's in a treasure chest, so it's obviously valuable for some reason. That, or he was a huge weirdo. We'll see.
Kittenberry says, I am, how do you say it, unwell? So I think I'm going to go ahead and go back up to bed and not go to the library today, if that's okay with everyone. I'll hang back here for a while. Hold down the fort, so to speak.
Would you like us to check out any novels for you, Kittenberry?
Yes, I would like something in the romance, monster category. Thank you.
Romance, monster category. Okay. Any of these monsters to lovers type situation?
I actually quite prefer like a friends to lovers situation. Slow burn, if you will.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't seem to be very good plot, but yeah, I mean, to each their own. Yeah. I find a friends to
Killian
lovers.
would be your better person to ask for something like that.
Do we know that?
She like laughs as loudly as she possibly can.
Why would Killian
in their ear?
Why would Killian be a good source for romance novels?
Bula just kind of winks and throws another piece of cantaloupe at you.
Catch this one.
She knows something. She knows something we don't know.
That was a strange joke. Yeah. Sure. You don't think Killian reads romance novels, do you?
Do you think
No.
Killian reads? No.
I think he writes tomes. I don't think he reads. He's the one making the books, probably.
Oh, exactly. Snore.
Well, Kittenberry is like too sick for this conversation, so she just goes upstairs. She says, "Just bring me back something if you find it. It's fine. Bye." Goes back up to bed. Okay. And the rest of you, do you do anything else, or do you gather up your stuff and head out to the Athenaeum, except for Eidos, who is hanging back to work on a project?
As Killian's heading back, you want to ask the guards at the police station if there's like an armorer nearby, like particularly one that is good with dealing with leather. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay. He mentions that there is an armorer that they used. Their name is Amity Cornwallis. The officer, she says, that Amity used to be like a bodyguard, kind of, for this like local politician. And since they've retired, they make all the armor for the sort of guard force here, as needed, and directs you to their address, or gives you their address.
Perfect. Keelan will head that way.
Okay. When you get there, what exactly are you asking for? She's opened up shop in the morning. She has this, it's like sort of run out of her house, but she has this sort of side yard, where she has a lot of her, like she has a small forge. She has a couple different, like big burners. She even has like a tanning sort of barrel that she uses. What specifically are you gonna ask her for?
And I'll go up to the desk and say, pardon me, are you the owner of this establishment, Madam Cornwallis?
I am. I'm Amity Cornwallis. What may I do for you?
Well, I was looking to actually procure a breastplate, a nice kind of sturdy breastplate. I find that the armor that I currently have is a little bit tight in the shoulders, and I need a little bit more flexibility.
Well, I could do that. Do you want something custom made, or is something that I already have in stock going to do?
I was wondering how do you ever work with exotic materials at all?
Such as?
And
I've worked with owlbear skin. I've worked with a variety of things.
Keelan will reach into the bag and he'll pull out some of the dragon scales that he grabbed yesterday. But these are fresh scales from an emerald dragon, believe it or not. I was hoping maybe some way these could be weaved into the leather, or maybe used to make the leather more durable. I also have some of its blood as well, if that can be used in any sort of way.
An interesting idea. Quite likely a bit past my pay grade. But I know a few people who I could ask for help. How many of these do you have? Referring to the scales.
Keelan will say, "Oh, I have I procured about 3 of them. It might not do for too much, but maybe you would probably know better than I as to what you can do with it, or maybe your associates do."
Well, if you're comfortable leaving this here with me, and you said you had a vial of dragon blood, you're welcome to leave those. I'll ask. I know a few people who are more familiar with the monsters than I am, who might know if this has a good. You want it to be quite useful, or do you just want it to look good?
Well, ideally, I would like it to make it a little bit more durable, rather than aesthetics.
Okay, function over form. Let me ask a few friends and see what I can come up with. If you don't mind leaving this here for a few days.
No, I'll be in Ozolid for quite a little while. So
let me get your information from you. And she pulls out this sort of accounts book and has you sort of open an account with her essentially. And she makes a note of it that you've left this amount of items here, and she gives you a receipt for your items so that you can kind of get them back when you're ready, if necessary.
And Killian will just write his first name and just initial for the last name. He was about to, almost out of reflex, just continue signing his entire name, but he stops short like right after he finishes the S, and just lets the ink kind of blot at the end of the S, and then kind of takes it away and gives it back.
She gives it a glance, gives you a quick glance, and she accepts it. She closes the book up, hands you the receipt, and puts the book away, and she immediately pulls out this small leather pouch, and she puts the 3 dragon scales and the vial that you give her of blood in it, and marks it with a note with your name on, Killian S, not your full name, but Killian S on it, and takes it inside the shop where it's going to be safe for the day. Anything else I can help you with, my friend?
So should I expect a messenger or something like that when you have more information about what you can do?
Indeed. You wrote here that you're staying at the Familiar Drum. This should take me 2, maybe 3 days to get a hold of my friends and show them what you gave me. I'll let you know as soon as I have some ideas about what I can do with this and what it might cost.
Okay, perfect. One last thing. No, never mind. No, I'm going to the library anyways. It's okay. No, that's it.
They're doing business with you. I'll let you know as soon as I can.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And Killian will head back to the old karaoke bar.
Okay. As you get there, I think everybody's kind of wrapping up the conversation about what to do with the day. Zada, what are you doing? Are you at the bar with them now that you're done with your run? Downstairs, part of the conversation.
Yeah. After his run, he'd probably just come in, just kind of sit down, get a healthy batch of water, something to eat, and then he's like, "So, what are we doing? do we decide?"
It's another study day. Ados will kind of plug his nose and look at Serafina and kind of point to Zada. Can you fix this?
Serafina very quietly and discreetly will cast prestidigitation
On Zada.
Yes.
Zada, roll perception. See if you notice.
She gave you like a stealthy sponge bath.
That's a 19.
That's a 19.
26 for Zada.
You know exactly what's happening, and you're like, if they can't handle the musk, that's on them.
Oh, Zada's usually pretty clean, so he would have already like washed up a little bit. But yeah, he doesn't care. He just
Yo, cat bath.
He's a cabbie.
While you're running. Okay. Yeah, Bula, are you jumping in this conversation about what to do with the day? You guys are heading to the library, it sounds like.
I mean, at this point, she's had breakfast, so she won't be hungry for at least 10 minutes. So, she's just kind of wherever Marway's gonna go, she's gonna follow.
Marway, would you like to head with the group, or do you have anything you'll hang back and do?
No, I think we're going to go to the library.
Okay, very cool. So most of you, sans Ados, who's going to stay back with his mysterious vials of black liquid, head out to the Athenaeum for the day. First of all, before I forget, Ados, you head upstairs. How do you go about starting to kind of inspect these vials? Is there any specific skill you use? Any particular tool?
Oh, I was going to use the skill of maps to find somebody smarter than me. I'll take a look at it, kind of go upstairs and sit at my little desk, pull it out, and see if I can figure out anything. And if I can't, then I'll take it to an apothecary or mage's shop.
Okay. Roll a investigation check as you just kind of give it a cursory 5 senses going over.
7 again.
Okay, yeah, it's a little bit viscous. Like when you turn the vials, like it sort of slides off the walls a little bit more slower than like something more watery. It is quite dark in color, but it is see-through. It's not like gritty or cloudy. It's quite clear. The vials themselves, they're stopped with a cork that is sealed with wax, but you've already I believe you've popped one open to kind of sniff it or something. Was that something you did before, or am I dreaming that?
You're dreaming, yeah.
Okay, never mind. So maybe you haven't popped the cork. You're welcome to.
I don't know that he would, just because he has no idea what it is, and it came from hell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so giving it a cursory glance, you're no closer to really figuring out. It does not look like blood or anything you are particularly familiar with that 7.
Okay.
You head downstairs and you ask the girl who's kind of making and serving the food. You ask her for a couple local maps, which it takes a minute. She runs back into the office and produces a few of the city maps. One of which has business names on it, and you find a place called the Little Flower Leaf. And so it appears to be like an apothecary or a potion shop.
Okay. Yeah, I'll head there.
Okay, and we will come back to you. Those of you who go to the Athenaeum, you walk in. One of the same archivists is working the front desk as the day before, and she audibly sighs as you all walk in. And but she does kind of she puts her glasses up on her head, and greets you all as you approach the desk, and she's already pulling out one or two different tomes actually that you guys had asked her to produce. Anybody in particular greet her? She
Of course, I walk up and I present my library card. Very proud.
She is so charmed by you. She just thinks you're the cutest thing. She softens, immediately when she sees you, even though she still has quite an attitude for your companions. And she says, "Hello, dear. Unfortunately, though you have your library card, I'm proud of you for remembering to bring it back. Good job. I wasn't actually able to procure you anything that you were specifically curious about, except for this one." And she pulls out a big, heavy book that she had not initially produced because she literally couldn't pick up all of them at once. This thing is so big. Slams it down on the counter, and she says, "You wanted to talk about demiplanes. I could keep looking, but this is the first thing I thought of. It's called Conjurations for the Curious." And she says, "It's actually a spell book, so I don't know if you're necessarily a caster, but it sounds like if you're trying to look into demiplanes, you might be. This could help." And she slides it a little bit towards you.
It's gonna do his best to take it and then try to struggle carrying it. But still with a big ol' smile.
She immediately grabs one of the living index orbs, and the little particle illusory woman appears. And she says, "Allow me," and the particles sort of help you lift the book and helps you carry it over to a different area.
These guys are so cool. So I'm going to kind of lead it over back to the Fae kind of plains section, just so I can do a little bit of scrounging there, just in case there's something she missed.
Yeah, and besides the fact that that's, where you're looking for specific tones, that's one of the really cool parts of the Athenaeum. It's literally got this giant display of all the planets and stars. It's a very intellectual and inspiring place to read. Are you going to look around first, or are you going to dig right into this first book?
I think we're going to start by looking around, just a quick little skim, trying to see what we can find, and then we're going to jump into that dome.
Okay, roll an investigation check.
Well. Why do you have to keep asking me to roll these? It's going to be a very solid 6.
It's my job! Because it's funny.
I think Norway is probably just he's a combination of so tired that he's not really reading the books, but also really excited to get into this big book.
Yeah, you see some that have really pretty embossed covers. That's great. You're happy for this Athenaeum. You're that's really good for them. They have really nice books.
Really pretty.
Yes. Yeah, but you go and you crack open this big, heavy spell book. It's quite musty smelling. You start to skim it. It's got pretty detailed instructions for a bunch of different conjuration spells. And you flip through, you find an index in the beginning, you run your finger down the list, and you find demiplane, which would be exactly why she pulled this tome for you. You flip to that page that the number is noted. And it's the whole spell components and the verbal and somatic instructions to cast the spell. The spell is noted to require a wizard or warlock's particular magic talent, their arcane abilities. But the author that curated this sort of spell collection notes, in handwriting off to the side, that someone with other types of arcane talent might be able to kind of study the nature of demiplanes and produce an item, maybe, that's able to mimic the small pockets of reality that are created by the original demiplane spell. So though this spell is one that is fairly basic and has constraints, the author sort of takes a moment to notate their own thoughts about demiplanes. and the nature of how one might create them in other ways. And it's quite helpful, and it will probably come in handy to know that in the future. Back up at the front desk as you're doing this bit of research on your own. Killian, after you see Maraway wander off with that big old book, the archivist immediately, the smile kind of falls off her face, and she says, I believe you asked me for information about Oasis, maybe gifts from the gods, correct?
Yes. Something along those lines.
So here's the thing about that. We have located a tome within the Hall of Echoes that likely contains information about gifts from the gods. However, that is in the only authorized researchers have access, as I told you yesterday, to those more secure tomes. It will take, I already put in a request for you to be given permission for me to bring the book out to you. Those usually take 2 to 3 weeks to turn around. So I will let you know once I have word back and the authorization to pull that book for you.
Okay. Oh, that's a little bit of a letdown, but I'm sure I can find something to occupy my time. Can I get one of those little orb things?
Of course. Reaches down and produces one, which immediately lights up as she sort of lets it float up into the air. And the sort of spectral particle woman appears in front of you and says, "Hello, welcome to the great Athenaeum of Arendriel. Killian, what are you looking for today?"
I'm hoping to get a little bit of information on my home country of Cordia. Specifically looking for a little bit of information about Thorsavine.
She goes back in her databanks for a minute, and she says, "The furthest back histories of Cordia are in the book titled Ripples of Eternity, a comprehensive account of the Dionic Wars and theological speculations. This is kept in the Hall of Echoes. I will put in a request for you to..."
Block the return.
It glitches out. The archivist says, dear, if you just want information about Cordia, she's going to go through all the different titles. Just go over to the geography section. You'll find many, many tomes about Cordia over there. She's just going to go through every single thing in the Athenaeum if you let her. And indeed, the Mirage is still just naming tons of books and different sections you can find them in.
Is there any way I can, is there a word I need to say to direct them to a certain book if I'm looking for it?
Yes, take the orb over to the specific section you want it to look in. In this case, I would recommend the geography section, which also contains books sorted by their location as opposed to times in history. Tell it Cordia, give it a time frame that you would want the book to have been written in, and she will bring down the books for you.
Okay, perfect. Killian will start heading off towards the direction. And once he's out of, I would guess, sight lines of the party, he'll kind of whisper to the orb and say, "Do you guys have a romance section?"
The lady, way too loudly, says, "Would you like to go into incognito mode?"
Perception check, who saw?
Seraphina, Zada, what are your passive perceptions?
Passive perception is 17 for Zada. So that's gonna be pretty damn fucking high.
Mine is 11.
Okay. Zada, I think you definitely heard that, but you're not even.
Yeah,
that,
it's yeah,
that
whatever.
doesn't register to you. So, Killian, you do notice that Zada's ear turned at the noise, but it didn't register at all. You don't even see his face change.
It's and then Kilobis just say, "Yes," and can we turn your volume down a little bit?
The particle image disappears, and the voice is now inside your head, saying, "The volume will remain the same. However, now only you are listening. We are in cognito mode."
So, which direction should I go?
Romance is in the non-fiction wing. I will lead you, and the orb floats away.
Keelan will follow the orb.
Okay. So you take off with the orb. Zada, at this point, the archivist, after dealing with Killian, turns to you and has a few tomes there laid out in front of you and pushes them toward you, 2 different books. She says, these are what we have available to the general public about Ere. Unfortunately, I have to say, as you have heard many times by now, and don't seem to have understood, or your companions at least, these are quite surface-level accounts of the goddess. You're welcome to take them and read at your leisure.
Sure. Thank you. I'm just curious how you guys say about her. Linolin history is very much different, I think, than your guys' history.
Of course. She lets you head off with those tomes. You crack one open, and she's right. It is very surface level stuff. You realize as you're reading it that although your people have always identified Ere as the goddess of war, none of the writings here, as you flip through these books and read through them, they're good accounts of Ere, and line up much with what you know, but they refer to her mostly as the goddess of pride, of glory, of vengeance, and one of them also gives her the title of goddess of accordance and compromise, claiming that she was actually instrumental in ending the Dionic War.
That's new. Cool.
You also asked for books about the Leonin race. She had handed you a book called Prides and Tribes of the East. You open it up. It's one of the only known historical and cultural sort of research documents about the Leonin race on Dion. It goes on to tell you that although some Leonin live solitary lifestyles and kind of venture away from their home communities to join larger society, most keep to their, what the author calls, insular communities on the eastern continent. The essays, it's sort of the book is a collection of essays. It goes on to describe some of the communities of Leonin that the author themselves was able to live with and study over a couple years. They describe the communities as each having their own religious traditions and beliefs, some of whom worship celestial gods or goddesses, just like your tribe with Ere, but some of which keep to more like naturalistic beliefs, sort of druidic paganism, or some even are relatively like non-religious. Each of the communities that they studied, they know have strong community-centric ideals. They show some level of distrust of outsiders or groups that they see as like competitors for resources. The author describes that 2 groups of Leonin that he tried to make contact with responded to his inquiries with like outright xenophobia, and it devolved very quickly into like threats of physical hostility if he did not leave. The author sort of concludes these essays by stating that the Leonin people are a very proud culture. They've got a rich history. It's been largely maintained by oral tradition. The author then really editorializes, puts their own voice and their own perspective in here. They've kind of already been, but especially at the end. By stating that the Leonin are quite capable of great bravery, empathy, selflessness, and they postulate that the world would be a better place if the Prides had sort of the ability and the safety and the willingness to expand beyond the grasslands. So all in all, it's a little insulting. It's a little bit, it's very clearly written by someone who doesn't have a really, really deep knowledge of Leonin culture and traditions. But this is someone who took the time to try. And some of it lines up with what you know, and a lot of it doesn't.
Well, that's a hot take if I ever saw one, but yeah, I guess. Whatever. Now let's see if I can go sneak into that restricted section.
Seraphina, I don't believe you asked for any books to be like pulled for you, right? I didn't notate that last time.
She doesn't need anything, just the index, and she'll just go straight back to the warlock section to do some of her secret research.
Okay. On your way there, you do pass a stack of shelves where you see Mira is shelving books. Slowly. She still looks a bit rough, a little bit worse for wear today.
So yeah, Serafina will just say, "Hey, Mira, how's it going this morning? Didn't you have so much fun last night?"
She like immediately like puts the book that she's holding down and just slumps, and she's like, "Listen, Sarah, like I had way more energy for this when we were at the Luminara. Like I am exhausted. That was crazy. That is not the same kind of trouble we used to get into. Is this all the time for you?"
This seems to be like my new normal, and I think I'm having a pretty good time. I thought you were looking for some adventure. I thought you would love it.
I don't know if I loved it specifically. I think I need a little bit of time and distance away from what happened to know how I feel about what happened. That was so scary. But like it's fine. It's fine. I'm cool. It's just a lot, you know?
You used your shield. I saw you. You were great.
Speaking of shield, what the hell were you casting? Cause those weren't spells we learned at Luminara.
Yeah, so Serafina just like grows flush and she starts like sweating, trying to like keep her composure. She'll say, "Oh, those are just some old blackthorn powers I inherited. You know how it is."
Okay, girl, whatever. I'm not even gonna begin to ask. Like, you've got a whole thing going on, and that's really cool. Anyway, like, you know that thing we talked about at dinner yesterday, like, that I was gonna help you with? And she, like, winks really awkwardly.
Yes.
Obviously. Well, like, I think I can still help with that. We do have a night in between that project that we wanted to do together. And, why don't we go ahead and, like, meet up for dinner tonight again, and we can discuss details, maybe with your cute friends.
Yes. Oh, do you think one of them is cute?
Oh my god, I did not just say that. No, I don't think any of them are cute. I'm, like, not even thinking about that. Like, don't worry about it. You don't ask me questions, I won't ask you questions about your weird spells, okay?
Tell me who you think is cute. Maybe I can help you, get some information and help you out. I can be your wing woman.
Okay, maybe we talk about this tonight over drinks. Not right now. I'm working. Like, come on. Some of us have real jobs.
Okay. I have a real job.
I'm sorry. That was a low blow. I think I'm really traumatized from that robbery. So I'm so sorry. That was
okay.
Me.
It's okay. So I'm just headed to go, look around. But before I go, do you happen to have any recommendations for like a romance novel? It's for a friend. She's looking for monster romance. Do you know anything about that?
Oh my god. Yeah, I know one. It's called Beauty and the Beholder, and it's like super hot. It's over here, and she like leads you over to the fiction section. Okay. And she's like, it's great because it's kind of like tentacles with eyes. People who love monster hunters really like it.
Oh, no.
Sounds great. I think she'll love it. And she'll love it. Serafina casts prestidigitation before she takes the book.
Alright.
Okay. She's like, I really am gonna go back to work, but like, just meet me here outside the entrance or outside the exit whenever the Athenaeum's closing. We'll pick where to go for dinner, unless you have a place.
Yeah, I'll have to just pick one of my old favorites. I'll send you a message before I head out for the day.
Okay, sounds good. I will see you later. And she goes back to what she was doing.
Bye.
You head on and you like make like a zigzag around
just
area, like so that no one sees you go directly to the Okay, and are you looking for anything in particular or just browsing the shelves still?
Yeah, I think Serafina's just still trying to get her arms around like the basics of just like warlock stuff. So she's just there studying and like looking stuff up.
very cool. I'll just let you go on about that without reading you every name of every book that you pull and start to study, because that would be crazy. Yeah. So, Killian, you go over to sort of the geographical history section, and you find a big old tome on Cordia's history. Do you have any specific information you're looking for in that, or are you just gonna peruse it?
I want to look up like information about if they have information about the fall of Thorsavin. And I also want to ask the orb lady a question. And I'll ask, are you able to produce an image of a book that's in this library, like the cover, not the contents?
I can show you the cover and the back cover of any book within the Athenaeum walls.
The librarian said that the book that I was looking for about Oasis was in the Hall of Echoes, strictly under lock and key. But I was wondering if you could just show me what the cover of the book would look like.
Yes, one moment. And though now it is just a voice in your head, the same kind of particle illusory image appears, not the woman, but a new one. It doesn't have a cover. It is a set of scrolls.
Are there any like particular markings on the scrolls, like on the little knobby ends and stuff like that?
Yeah, you see there's a very like beautifully etched or like wood carving of Dion's symbol, the goddess Dion's symbol.
Okay.
It appears to be each have been done by hand by an artisan, so they should be relatively noticeable among the crowd of scrolls.
All right. Yeah,
I'm sure that won't be handy information later.
Killian's just gonna kind of commit the imagery of the scrolls to memory, and then wait for the direction of which book has the information about Thorsavin.
Yeah, sure. The orb, the particles dissipate. They physically move up, and they're able to carry a couple different books down. You start flipping through them, and you notice in each one that is even remotely related to Thorsavin's like history in and of itself. Like there are some that mention that it was a city in Cordia. There are some that mention its geographical location, just very matter-of-factly. But the ones that talk about the history of it, it had been a thriving community, not particularly old, before, and then pages are ripped out. If any of the books go that far into Thorsavin's history, pages have been removed.
Orb lady, is this common for pages in this library to be ripped out?
It is only done by the archivists for tomes that are directly related to the Dionic Wars, in ways that the general public would likely not find comforting.
And so I would assume that these torn out pages are probably in the Hall of Echoes.
One might assume, because that would be correct.
This place is really starting to annoy me.
I am sorry. Would you like to be kicked out of the Athenaeum permanently?
No, please don't do that. I apologize. This place is great. Anyone's listening, this place is fantastic.
No one is listening, but myself, and I am not a being. I am an artificial construct made to make your perusal easier in the great Athenaeum of Arendriel. Is there anything else I can help you find?
I'll just go back to the nonfiction section.
Enjoy your romance novels.
I will.
It's index through shape.
When you go over to the romance section, you notice a book has been recently pulled. Like there's not a lot checked out, and the ones that have been checked out have been like replaced by the librarians. And there's one that's been recently pulled out in the monster lover section.
Like
It's in the it's alphabetized with the B's, the one that's missing.
it's like Killian just looking through the shelves, stops at that. I was like, oh, somebody's got weird taste, and just keep going. And then he'll just kind of peruse some of the books, pluck one out that looks quite interesting to him, and ask the orb lady, are some of these books for purchase? You know, they don't seem to be like important staples of the Athenaeum.
You're asking if they can be purchased permanently?
Yeah.
Like rather than borrowed?
Yeah.
The voice says, "You may offer to purchase any book in the fiction section of the library, which this is in. Many of their price will vary based on the rarity of the tome, so your offer may not be accepted, but many offers have been accepted in the past. All proceeds go to the support of the Athenaeum."
Oh, that's nice. Let me see. And he'll just kind of pick out, he'll pick out 2 books, and he'll say, well, how much for these 2 here? If they have a price.
The wheel turns for a second. You may pay a total of 7 silver for these 2 tomes.
Who do I give the money to?
You may pay at the front desk.
Okay, perfect.
Just out of curiosity, what are the names of those tomes?
You one of y'all would ask. There is one called
I got one for you. It's called Kobolds and Courtiers.
Sure, there's kobolds and courtiers. And then there's one that looks to be like a bit comedic, like a bit tongue-in-cheek, and it's called Adult Dragons Doing Adult Dragon Things. And that just makes you giggle because you killed a dragon the night before. It's got like a really cheesy 80s illustration on the cover. 1580s, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Killian will run up to the front, make sure no one is there that he knows, and purchase the books as quickly as he possibly can.
Okay, you do so, and you're purchasing them from, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say the other archivist that you haven't been directly working with this whole time. You make sure to go around to that side. And she like smirks and she puts them in a small bag for you and hands it over, a little canvas tote, and gives it to you.
Like immediately, it's pushed down deep into the bottom of my bag.
Okay. Yeah, the day goes by. You all spend quite a bit more time researching your various topics. I'm taking into account all of this time you guys are spending studying certain things. So that may translate later as advantage on different intelligence or wisdom-based rolls. We'll see. Or history rolls. So the day goes on. You guys spend all day long there. Do you wait till closing? Serafina, do you catch up with the group about your plans to have dinner with Mira?
Yeah, I will. I'll let everybody know about our plans. We're gonna have dinner with Mira tonight to discuss you know what, winky face. So yeah, I will. I'll spread the message to everybody.
So Bula has basically spent the day in a library of all places. She tries to look at the spines of some of the books, but quickly gets annoyed with that. She always makes sure she knows where Maraway is, and she's still a little miffed about the little holographic woman helping him carry his book instead of just letting her do it. And she picks up a few stacks of books and does some book presses and kind of gets up under a table and does some leg presses with some tables and she just kind of is wandering around. She kind of sees Killian being a little stealthy and weird. She kind of giggles, clocks it, moves on. She's just wandering around trying to keep herself busy.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you guys thus spend your day at the Athenaeum. Let's take a 10-minute break here before we go have dinner with Mira again. See whose birthday we can ruin tonight. So with that, we're going to be back in about 10 minutes. So let's plan on 10:20 is our return time. As a reminder, as always, we'll be running 3 minutes of ads during the break. Thank you in advance for sticking around, doing the capitalism thing. We love you for it. We'll see you after we come back, and thanks to all our subscribers, followers. You guys are great. We'll be right back. We back, babes. Sorry that we lost connection there. Don't worry about it. Closets in the wires. It's always... Thank you all for waiting. So our party is meeting up with Mira, Seraphina's old school friend, to discuss how they're going to go about getting into the Hall of Echoes so they can get all this information that they've been digging for. Mira meets up with you all. You decide on a local restaurant that Seraphina remembers from her last time here in the city. It's got good food, and you guys are sitting and eating. And at first, she's like being like very conspiratorial and like very nervous that someone's going to overhear. And then she realizes that nothing's really going to make sense to anybody here anyway. And she's not in her work uniform anymore, so she loosens up. She tells you a bunch of stuff that she knows about the Athenaeum. She is not a good hire, it would appear, because this is all way too easy to get out of her. She appears to be quite bored with her work and her life. She knows that outside of the Athenaeum, there are multiple security measures. Specifically, the monks that guard the library are from the Order of the Shrouded Scribe. They're a group of monks, and the only monks staying to guard the library, while the more advanced monks help all the dignitaries who are in town travel back to their homes. There's only initiates who are staying. So they're a little bit less skilled and a little bit less well-trained than some of their counterparts. It's the lowest rank of this monk order. So they kind of patrol the outside of the Athenaeum every night. She doesn't know about how many. You'd have to go and actually find out how many and what they do. She doesn't usually stay after work, but she'll say bye to the person guarding the door whenever she leaves at night. And she's seen some walking around where the moat is. The bridges that lead to the Athenaeum, they're not like drawbridges or anything like that. It's not it's not a military fortress by any means. It's a library. They don't really expect a lot of crazy things, and it's a very magically trapped and secure library. So it's not so much the foot soldiers, the actual mortals guarding the place that are going to get you. It's a lot of stuff inside. Once you're inside the Athenaeum, even in the general part, at night when it's closed, it has this magic cast over the whole area that makes every little noise and even your footsteps, it amplifies it outside of the Athenaeum. So it immediately would alert the city watch, the monks, anybody around. There is the door to the Hall of Echoes, the exterior door to the Hall of Echoes, or from the library to the Hall of Echoes. It's locked with a glyph. She doesn't speak the language of the glyph. She's only ever seen another archivist open the door for her. She's never opened it herself. She thinks that the language, she's kind of looked at it curiously. She thinks it kind of looks like Celestial written on the door. She has not been past that locked, or she's been in that section, but the Hall of Echoes actually has two sections, one restricted and one even more restricted. So she's never been past the secondary door into the most restricted area. She's only been allowed inside the sort of exterior area of the Hall of Echoes, and that's been it. She does not know what security measures lay beyond that second door. Although she has heard rumor that an angel of Lydal, who is the god of light and understanding, lives within that part of the library and supplies a lot of the sort of celestial magic and the wards that protect this place. There is no way these wards prevent any kind of teleporting within the Athenaeum, or from outside the Athenaeum. So things like Misty Step won't do what you need, or Dimension Door. Those things are nullified. You would find yourself bodily atomized within the walls of the Athenaeum. It would not be pretty.
Is that part, you said, like, trying to teleport inside, or just using that magic any time inside there?
Altogether, any teleportation spell, either from outside to inside or inside to inside, will be nullified. The only reason other magics aren't is because mages come and study here. So there are certain other magics that will do. Only the Council of Three, who are the major leaders of this whole sort of kingdom, and their personal designees are ever allowed within that innermost sanctum. Only the High Archivist holds the key to that innermost door. So she tells you would all need to either find a way to steal that key or find a different way past the door to get to that most inner place. But she says there's a ton of scrolls in the first chamber if you can just get back the glyph lock, or get past the glyph lock. So she tells you all that that's what she knows, that she is not very willing to... Can you hear my cat?
Yeah, we're in my favorite cat cafe.
For dinner.
Sometimes Eden just needs to be heard in games. So.
You are at a cat cafe. It's incredible. Fawn is having the best time. Yeah, so she tells you that's like all she really knows. She is like, she says, I am super not willing to be there when you guys go through all this. Like, I'm out. This is the most I got. Don't tell them I told you this stuff. If anybody catches you, I would rather you die than give them my name, because I would be so embarrassed.
That's
there
what you're... Okay, yeah, sure, no problem.
Thanks. I'm really like going out on a limb for you guys here. But I do need to know how it goes. You have to tell me if you find anything cool in there, because I've been dying of curiosity the whole time I've worked there.
Is there anything you want us to look up?
I don't know. Tell me like the secrets. Why is it so important that they hide that shit? I don't like that they, tear out pages of books and put them away where no one can see them. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't like it.
I agree. Rather annoying.
Yeah. And like high-key rude. So I don't know. Just tell me like the secrets of the universe and I'll be good.
I will totally get those for you.
Thanks. Okay, so you guys have feasibly a full night. You're at dinner now, so you have tonight to stake out the library if you wanted to, or find what you can, and a full day to do what you need to do to prepare.
Caitlin would like to ask Mira. Mira, you said you were able to pass through with one of the archivists past that first glyph on the door, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
Was it? Would you recognize the glyph if you were to like draw it out? You said it might be in a different language.
Oh. Like, I don't even know the language. I just think it kind of looks like Celestial and it glows like Celestial, and also the whole library is protected by Celestial magic. So, like, I was just assuming. I don't really know that much about Celestial. I probably couldn't even draw it. It was, like, some swirls and some, like, loops, I think. But high-key, that's, like, all of the glyphs in Celestial, so... Sorry. But, like... You just have to, it looked like they just had to, like, press the correct glyph. Like, it's not that complicated, I think, once you're actually looking at it, if you speak the language and know which one to press.
And have you ever witnessed anyone, let's say, pressing in the wrong spot on that glyph? Maybe by accident or something like that?
No, I mean, it's, like, kind of, like, behind this, like, gate, so people don't usually go over there to, like, just try. And I've never seen anybody except the High Archivist try, so. Sorry. I wish I could help more.
Oh, you've helped plenty. You gave us plenty of information.
But, like, go back. It's on the second floor, above the section about, like, the rivers and river deltas or something of the Western continent. I don't know. Go above that section of the library. And there's this like little, I mean, it's not a gate. You can just hop right over the gate when you get there, but it's just this like small door. And when you approach it, all the glyphs will light up. So that's where that door is. Maybe you can like go and watch it tomorrow or something.
Could you like procure some initiate robes by chance of the monks?
I mean, shit. I could probably, I could just say that like my house burned down in like a really terrible fire and I need some new uniforms.
Sure. Yeah, that's great.
Cool. Okay, I'll do that. She's like, oh, to be clear, I can only get you archivist uniforms. I cannot get you the monks' garments.
Okay. Do you know where like they store that stuff? Because like that might be helpful.
Well, they don't like live at the Athenaeum. They're like a whole monk order. They have
alright.
like a monastery and stuff. So
Got it.
I don't think you want to mess with them. They're seeing them like run really, really fast.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I'm.
Right. I saw you run too. You're also fast. It's cool. Okay. Okay, so you guys have some information. How do you want to prepare for this night and the next day? What do you want to do? We'll just run through it quickly.
I want to stake out the archivist to see if I can steal that key. I want to get that big, big key to the big, big doors, baby.
Okay. So you're specifically looking for the high archivist, the one person who like runs the whole place.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find a spot that I can swipe that key. And maybe like have a fake key. I don't even, just a random other key that kind of looks like it. Maybe if I get an eye on it, or if not, just some other random key so they don't know it's taken till it's too late.
Okay.
How are we going to mask our footsteps on the way to that door?
Oh, I think, how do we even get in the front doors after it's all shut down and blocked?
I mean,
Well, like-
I could always cast Pass Without Trace, and then our feet will leave no tracks.
What's the sound? That's the problem. Does it muffle
It does
our
both.
footsteps?
It does both.
Above,
Doesn't.
yeah,
Okay.
above table, it'll, yeah.
It does both. Above the table.
Mm.
And
That's
do
what
all
I've
that shit.
heard. Okay, well that covers that. Yeah, how do we get in there at night? Maybe hide between the stacks?
Well,
We
worst
could try
comes to
knocking.
worst, I could just spark some embers and just like set the library on fire.
I don't think that's a great
I don't-
idea.
I don't want you to do that. That's
I mean, if we
I
have to get
really-
away, I'm just saying that's the way to get out.
We're
I'm
not
sure
burning
that they
down centuries of history. That's a
surely
foolish
it's-
idea.
it's foolish and
I
surely
mean, I'd rather
protected
do
against-
thousands of history is fine. I don't want to get caught. We have another like saving the world kind of thing going on. I don't think a couple of books are gonna matter if we do like burn the fiction sentence.
Zata, I'd rather you go to jail than you burn down all of these things.
You and I have different priorities.
Quite clearly, yes, we do.
It's usually the case, in fact.
Okay, so yeah, your first, I'll recap here. Your first big obstacle is going to be getting past the monks who patrol outside the library every night.
And
What's your
by,
plan for that?
and by
So-
outside, you mean like the perimeter
Outside
of
the whole Athenaeum, literally in the
Okay.
outdoors. Yep, that's what she told you happens, and that there are monks posted at the 3 entrances. There's 3 exterior entrances to the Athenaeum.
If we do like
So
tonight-
3 and go in with those robes, I think we could kind of like go back in. I know it's like closing up, but if we do it towards closing, we can be like, oh, lost things. For the people that aren't as stealthy, they can just have the robes and they can like. Seraphina's really good at convincing people. Like she literally took a girl's birthday party away. I think she could get back into the Athenaeum after night.
I think we all took a girl's birthday, not just me.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, we definitely did. You're right. I'm gonna say, but you definitely like. Yes, you were the leader of that one. I didn't know that was a thing until like the lady came by and was like, "Yeah, birthday, and I was like, whoa, what the heck? Anyway, but we could definitely, like, 3 of us could go in with robes, the 3 less stealthy ones, and the more stealthy ones can go in. So, like,
Well,
try to find in.
do we all need to go in? Like, would there be an
Yeah, we
idea
all
to
have.
keep someone on the outside for a distraction of some kind?
Yeah, that's what the burning
Draw
books
the cards
is
away.
for. That's what I'm saying. Burning books causes distraction.
No, Zada, we're not burning
Okay.
books.
All right,
Kinberry
let's
says,
just
I
pin
am
that.
a rogue. I could potentially very easily hide myself and keep watch outside for you all, if that's something you needed.
There you go. We have a sending stone, right? Do we? I don't even think we do.
Not that talks to anyone except
No,
a
yeah,
demon.
you have a single sending stone that communicates with.
A
Yeah.
devil.
Yeah.
And archangel. Don't we have 2?
And Archangel, yeah, we got one. Yeah, we have 2. We have one for Archangel and one for
Maybe
the
we should
devil.
buy some of those sending stones. We have a lot of coin for non-devil use.
Yeah, I mean, we could. Sure.
What if Kittenberry creates a distraction to draw the monk guards away, and then we just walk right in? Maybe?
I mean, I would say we wouldn't want her to get caught or anything, so the best thing would be try to get in there. And if there's
What?
anything that goes on, she could just shoot her cannon that she literally has, and then we could, like, definitely, that'll be a thing of, like, hey, we should probably get out.
Can we not just resort to murdering people that
I
are
didn't
just
say
doing their
fire
job?
the cannon at people. I just said fire the cannon. Didn't
I just
say
wanted
that
to
it had
preemptively
Around
put
people.
out. I just wanted to put out the no murder vibe to blanket your entire plan, Zata. Just, I know it usually
Fun.
ends there.
Would you like me to stay outside? And indeed, I have this very loud, tiny cannon. And if I see any trouble, I shoot it in the air, and you hear it inside, and you know to get out fast. Yes?
Yeah,
Perfect.
and I'll set a fire inside the library,
No,
and
you
then
won't.
we can get our escape.
No, there's
Well, he's
no
saying
need
no
for
fire.
fire.
We'll set fire to you before the book.
I feel
mean,
as
if
though
I'm on
setting fire to
fire,
the
I can
library would
just
just
set
make
fire.
people know where you are inside the library, and that may not be so a good
Well,
idea.
I'm just saying
Could
that
we
they
maybe
would,
just leave Zada out here with Kittenberry? He's starting to
Doesn't seem
sound
like a
like
good
what you would
idea.
call a liability.
He could,
It's not that I do not want to do that.
he can
think
just
this
run
job's
around
gonna
in
be-
circles around and distract all the monks.
I mean, I would be faster than them, but not very much faster, probably.
Oh, I think you're very much faster than them, and you should prove it.
But I'm going in there. There are stuff in there that I want. I'm
You
not
need
going
to
to stand
prove that you
outside.
are the fastest kitty cat.
I don't know.
already
They look.
I'm the fastest kitty.
They look a little like they could be a little faster than Zada. I
I
don't know.
Mm.
All right, another important part that I did want to discuss with everyone. I feel like it would be best to just go in there to find the books we need and not take them out of the library. Maybe find the information we need and leave them in there.
Why?
Agreed.
Why? Because
They-
then
they-
you paint a gigantic target on your back for the entirety of your days because you've stolen from the archives of the.
Don't we
Athenaeum.
already have that already? We already have a giant target on our back as it is.
We don't need
Yeah.
a second one.
Killian, you got do you know what these books look like?
I have an idea of the image of some scrolls that contain information about Oasis and various other deities. From what I saw, a lot of the scrolls have etchings of the symbol of Dion on the little ends. I don't know what you call the little ends of the scrolls. But there's little custom designs. If we get in there, I'm sure I'll be able to find them rather quickly.
If you could describe them pretty good, I know some magic that can locate objects for us.
You know the exact name of the scrolls, and that would help immensely. They're called Ripples of Eternity, a comprehensive account of the Dionic Wars and theological speculations, which of course Killian remembers because she said it, and he is looking specifically for that. So that should be helpful having you
have
now
ripples.
Maraway have that information.
I have Ripples of Eternity written down, so thank you very much.
That'll do.
I'll be able to find one of them for you, but
I don't know if this is exactly what we are specifically searching for. We are looking for information about the unwelcome ones, and
The relics.
relics, exactly, the relics associated with them. I don't know if that will be in the ripples of eternity, but a good place to start at the very least.
Or then we go in the giant center room. See what's in there.
I don't know that we'll need to. If we find what we need in the first room.
That doesn't sound like fun. If we're going to go in, you gotta go in all the way.
No, you
They
don't. You have to go in, get what you need, not what you want, and then leave undetected, and nobody's
Want and need
ever the
are
wiser.
two things that are about the same.
They are not very much not the same. I want a lot of things, but I need very little. Right now I need information so that we can get out of this town and never come back.
Yeah, that's why we get all the stuff and then we never come back.
Not all the stuff though.
Okay.
So we'll go
thank
in,
you.
we'll get what we need. If Zata wishes to continue without us, that is his business.
He
There
takes
is
the
only
ball.
so far that we can tell an adult what he can do.
Not
Very
curious
true.
what's behind the giant doors with the actual Celestials actually going to be behind there.
No, yeah, very curious, but not curious to find out what that celestial does once we go into his house. But Marway is right. You can do whatever you want. Just don't mention our names when, if you survive the attack that comes after you do that.
But we still need a plan to get past the monks that are guarding the perimeter. I know Kitten Bear's there to give us a warning sign if there's if they discover our presence or anything of that nature. But how are we actually getting past these monks if there are stations like guarding each of the exits?
If we can find one that has their people removed, we can't teleport into it, but I can teleport us to the door. Correct?
Yeah.
I can always
Or you can tell-
gently knock one out.
We also have the clothing, so we can look at Archivist and just go to the door.
I'm going to assume there's some kind of identification of some sort to get inside there.
We literally have somebody that has identification.
She's not coming.
We can take her identification.
You don't look like her. Hopefully.
Ooh.
Or can we?
Yes. Is that a possibility? We could use disguise self.
There you go.
Well,
I
one of
mean-
us could.
Ooh, you can look like
Chipmunk
the High Archivist. There you go. Just look at the High Archivist. It's looking all pretty. And then I can get you the key, and then we can just get in, no problem.
Yeah, let's pin that plan for now. Let's just talk about getting inside first.
I mean, that's how we get inside. If you are the High Archivist, we could just get in because you look like the High Archivist.
Who we've never met.
I mean, I'm going to stalk her. Literally going to stalk this person and try to steal her key. Their key.
Okay.
whoever
Okay.
they
So
are.
sure. That could be that's one plan. Plan B could be I could look like Mira and just go in as Mira.
Yeah, so you
Some
forgot
plans.
your lunch. Yeah, go get it. And then you're in.
So, what about the rest of us then? Are we just going all with you? Is that the plan, or?
I would say like 3 and 3. 3 stealth in. If they open the door, we could just run in, the fastest of us.
I mean, if they open the door, I'll just teleport us to the door and we can walk right
There you
in.
go. So 3 go in, 3 teleport, or run. Get there. Boom.
But if they're at the door and we teleport to the
That's what
door
Kitten
they're
Bear is
guarding,
for. Yes.
is she going
Well-
to draw them away? Or is she just going to warn us if something's going on outside?
You should just be warning us, but if we can figure out the way that they go around, then we can just wait till they know that we're not there, and then, or just wait till the door opens, and then run in, or teleport in, or close
Yeah.
enough.
Well, we'll have to do that the night of. If if it's going to be all hands on deck tonight, it's not going to look the same tomorrow night. But if it's just 2 guards, hopefully, they're walking around, not just standing there staring at the door, and then we could just pop in real fast.
If I see them, I can just chat them up while you guys head in, and then I'll be the last one in with my card.
I can also gently knock them out.
That's also an option.
Maybe Seraphina tries to charm them, and if that doesn't work, Bula clobbers them, and then we just go in.
I mean, I
Excellent.
can clobber people too.
Zada-
It's not a problem.
Your
Zada,
clobbering looks a
Sure,
lot
sure.
different.
Sure. Okay. I think we have
Have
a
a
plan.
So we get in, and then Marway, you use your magic to muffle our sounds and footsteps. We head up to the second floor, find this gate, and then somehow bypass this glyph that we have no idea what it looks like or anything like that.
Does anybody know Celestial?
Yep, I also know it.
Okay. So hopefully Mira's right about that. If not, then hopefully it's a language that one of us understands.
And we still
do
have, we still have tomorrow to investigate the place and take a look at all
That's
these
true.
things. Mira said
We
that
could go-
it is accessible, like you can go and
Look
look
at
at it.
Yeah.
Let's just look at it.
We could read the celestial on the ground, or see what they are. Like,
Or even if we
take a look.
don't understand it, Seraphina, you can comprehend languages. Just read it.
Yeah, if it is
Yeah.
celestial, we could read it.
Okay. And then once inside, our footsteps are muffled. That would set up that trap. And then we could just start exploring, right? Was there anything else inside?
Yeah, just that main chamber that we could go through. That I am totally going to do.
No.
Hmm.
Checking my notes here. Yeah. Seems that's all Mira told us about in the first chamber, anyway.
Alrighty. So when it comes to you have a day and a night. It is currently nightfall, so you have tonight essentially. If you wanted to do some kind of stakeout, do some sort of stalking, what have you. If you want to try and gather information, what does that look like, if anything?
I'll definitely go outside the Athenaeum just to see what the guard postings look like at full force and see if it
Yeah.
might lend any clues as to what it's going to be tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, so you roll a stealth check first of all. Just flat stealth as you just try and stay hidden as you watch the perimeter.
Okay.
This is a huge building. It's like bigger than a city block.
Stealth is not a spell. Sorry, it's my first time.
Yeah.
+1.
Okay.
16.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you stay very well hidden. Like I said, this building is the size of a large city block. You spend time just like kind of walking slowly the perimeter, trying to looking casual. Not really coming up to that side of the street or anything. And adjusting your appearance a little each lap, so you stay pretty low key. You see the Athenaeum's 3 entrances, which it's kind of a triangular shaped building, and each of the entrances are on a different point. They're watched overnight by sort of a mix of city guards who don't cross the bridges. They stay in the city. They just notice a patrol occasionally swings by. Not super often. You see that like twice, that an actual city guard swings by and just make sure the whole neighborhood's quiet. And then you see the monks of the Order of the Shrouded Scribe. I cannot say that.
That's a hard one.
Yeah. While you're watching that night, you see 4 of them doing a constant walk along the inner edge of the moat. So on the side of the Athenaeum, just walking that edge. Keep an eye. And they're monks, they're fast, long-legged. You like note the specific like face and hair of one of them, and you just stay put and you time it. You just sit and count. And it takes like a solid 13 minutes for them to walk back around. You know about how long the walking patrol goes. You also note each of the 3 entrances has 1 monk standing at the door. all night, and they change shifts 3 times.
And Mira said that there are just going to be 2 monks patrolling that night, correct?
That's what she knew. That she
Hmm,
said
see.
we're doing walking patrol. They're just like friends of hers, acquaintances who mentioned they were on duty that night. So she doesn't know if the doors are going to be more or less manned.
Okay.
She just knows who's walking patrol that night.
Okay. I'll go back to the whatever pizza parlor we're hanging out at and relay all that information.
Killian wants to be out there, kind of looking at which would be the easiest way to leave in terms of like exit and like an exit that would enter out into more like urbanness, I guess, like easier getaways essentially. Like which way would be the easiest way to get out?
Okay,
And-
roll survival, I think, as you take in all the terrain, kind of.
All right. That's a 10.
There is one where the like surrounding buildings, the neighboring buildings, start very close to that bridge, by only like 10 feet of open space. So by far the most easy to disappear in the next city block. The other ones have like one of the entrances has a big green park outside of it. Just a big grassy field essentially with some trees and shrubbery. And the other entrance has sort of more like industrial, kind of like the outside of factories and stuff pretty far apart and with large open spaces around them. So definitely the more densely packed area would be your way to disappear the fastest.
Okay. Well, let's make sure to tell everybody that.
You're going to want to go out the south entrance is the one you're looking at.
All right. And which way do we typically have been entering in from?
Like the northwest.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any other particular staking out you guys do that night before?
Our High Archivist, gonna go find them. And I'm gonna stalk them.
Okay. How do you begin that? You're just gonna.
I'm gonna
It's already well past close by the time you get to the Athenaeum. So it's not like you can just like wait outside for someone to walk by. You don't know what they look like. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna ask her friend Mira, because she should know who that is, and knows any information she may have of this person.
Okay. She describes her as quite an old woman. She is a half-elf woman. She doesn't know her age, but she is wrinkly. She's like losing hair at this point. Like she is on the doorstep of leaving this life. And by far the oldest person who works at the Athenaeum. She says that she wears a particular like she wears the same general uniform as the rest of the archivists, but hers just has this like yellow trim, just a little like yellow stripe along each seam of the fabric. And she doesn't know, Mira doesn't know where she lives by any means. She works with the lady. This is her high boss who she almost never gets to speak to even. But she tells you her general appearance to the point where you think you could probably pick her out from a crowd if you look around the next day.
Okay. Then the only other thing I would see is places I could easily vault up if need be to like the roof if I need to get up there.
Okay, I like to think this is happening in the same night, so you're all kind of doing your own sort of patrol of the grounds if you're over there looking for things. You bump into Killian, who's like realizing that that entrance is the one you guys want to exit out of, and it happens to be the one where there's nearby buildings. It is still a good 10 feet across from the next rooftop, but also like a good 50 feet up that jump. So it's a very far jump, but you would be able to you see a couple window ledges you think you could grab onto and help yourself climb up. Or you would be able to jump down from the Athenaeum and land on that rooftop with some luck.
Slow fall.
And a lot of skill. Mm-hmm.
Slow fall.
That would be your most not a great vaulting point, but if you had to, this is where you'd want to do it from. It's to the same kind of corner of the building. Okay, any other nighttime staking out that anybody has in particular? The rest of you rest, I imagine, so that you can all kind of get a full rest overnight and aren't exhausted the next day as you go on and do some investigation the next day. Who has ideas about what you want to learn or prepare this day? Marway?
I would like to cast Druidcraft, specifically to see what the weather is going to be like today. If it's going to be cloudy, thunderstorm, snowy, sunny, whatever. And if it's going to be windy, specifically.
Okay. Is that a roll, or is it just you know it?
Nope, you just tell me.
Fabulous, love it. Okay, it is not particularly windy. It will rain around sunset, for a couple hours. And then it will clear up, and it'll probably be foggy, because that rain is going to come right as the day cools off. So it'll be a foggy night, but quite still.
I'm going to spend a good amount of my day continuously ritual casting Skywrite, essentially to add to the clouds in the sky, just in case I need to teleport with Huthamer. The lightning sound doesn't sound out of place.
Cool. That's awesome. Okay. You can do that. That makes sense to me. So yeah, you make it look especially overcast during the day and leading up to that, the rain clouds that eventually also roll in overnight.
And occasionally I want to use like minor illusion to like make a crack of lightning in the distance.
Cool. Like there's a real storm rolling in as opposed to just a rain shower.
Mhm.
Cool. That's very creative. I love that. Okay. What else for that day? Anybody else have an idea to make your heist easier?
Definitely want to go check out. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll check out the outside of the restricted section just to check out the glyph and see what's what.
Okay. I'm assuming you'll take like Kata, Zada, and or Killian, and or both of them.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
that-
exactly.
I'll
Read
go with
the
you
celestial.
guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zada's busy right now. He's doing something.
You go and read the glyphs. One of them, it's a triangle that like obviously is the shape of the Athenaeum. And each of the points has a different glyph. The top one means preservation. The one sort of to your right is service. And the one on the left bottom is neutrality.
Do we know if this is just like a motto for the monks or
I'm trying to think if Seraphina would have heard of the monks. The monks are they're very widespread. They're a very large monk order. This is not the only place where they protect things. Go ahead and roll a history check to see if you would know, or a religion check.
okay.
Zada, I would also let you roll a history or a religion check if you're also there.
I have a 16.
I'm just waiting for the archivist, so yeah, I'll just be there. I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for the
You
high
rolled
archivist.
what, Seraphina?
16.
A 16? Okay, that's pretty good. Wait to see if Zada helps. Just being a monk. Okay. Okay, not very Okay, so that's
he's
fine.
too busy looking for the high archivist.
I got a 10. If we're wait, you said history or religion or which one? Sorry.
Either. I said you could do either.
So if it's religion, it's just 10.
Seraphina, you have heard of the Order of the Shrouded Scribes. They are guardians of history, lore, culture. Their mission is a sacred duty. It's a divine calling. They don't necessarily like worship Lydal, the god of like knowledge and light and understanding. But they do follow those tenets. So that is the closest thing they have to a god, and Lydal has blessed them throughout history with different in different ways. With a 16, you might like assume, and it might like ring a bell a little bit. You're like, yeah, they have like these beliefs. You would have seen them like maybe back home at the Luminara or something. Their beliefs are preservation above all, veiled service, and neutrality in conflict. So this is like the monks' kind of tenets.
Okay. And then you said the god of light and understanding. Did you say that was an angel before?
There's a rumor that an angel lives in the innermost sanctum, and it is an angel of Lydal. That's the rumor.
Okay, I see, Angel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. You guys are just kind of hanging out in that section of the Athenaeum during the day. Let me roll to see if anybody goes in that room while you're there. Okay. It's toward like the end of the day. And an archivist approaches and looks around and sees you, and they kind of like guard the door with their body. And you do see the whole triangle kind of like spin, and then they select a glyph, and then the door opens and they go inside and close it behind them. So it's hard for you to tell which glyph they pressed. But it would appear it kind of like, it doesn't just stay in the position you saw, so even knowing the position of it wouldn't exactly help. But go ahead and each of you, as you wait even longer to see when they come out, those of you who are there watching that door, go ahead and roll perception. Killian and Zada roll with advantage since you know Celestial.
Ooh. All right. Dirty 20.
I rolled a 14 and a 15, and I have a 7, so that's a 22.
Serafina has 15.
16.
Okay, you, Killian and Zada especially, to Seraphine and Eidos, unfortunately those symbols all kind of look the same, so it wouldn't really help for you to, you see the same as them, but I don't think you would like really internalize it or know what you're talking about coming back to it. But Killian and Zada, you are able to see that they come out, the door closes behind them, and one of the glyphs just barely perceptibly, they all like light up as the door opens, and as it closed, one of them lights up, or like lights down. What is it? Goes out. The light goes out slightly slower than the rest. And that one was Service.
Ada, did you see that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I catch everything.
Why didn't you ask me if I saw it?
I think too.
Oh.
Well, I'm sure you guys, I saw that you guys got it, but I didn't know if you understood Celestial, so, you know.
Oh no, I mean, I didn't get it. I just saw it. I just don't like that you assumed.
Well,
That's
yeah,
all.
we weren't trying to just, like, keep you
No,
out.
no, no,
Just, I saw that it was, that's the word for service, so we were just talking about that. I mean, I picked up that you caught
No,
it.
it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay, anybody else? Preparations? Loose ends?
I'm gonna find that archivist. Where is she?
Oh, yeah.
Where is she?
Where is she? Where is she?
Zada, you spent a lot of your day watching that door, so I'm gonna have you roll investigation. You're looking for one person in particular, and you're looking through a giant Athenaeum.
Oh god. Can't I just ask people?
It's a little suspect.
That's suspicious.
Have you met
I don't know if
Zada?
you'll have realized, but Zada is not the most tactful member of our group.
No.
I'm starting to pick that up.
That's a 6. Does not have investigation.
Just stops every old lady in the library.
Yeah, just
Spins 'em
anybody
around.
that's just an old. Are you the head archivist? Do you know who the head archivist is? Hello, are you the head archivist? Hello, are you also the head archivist?
None of them appear to be, and 2 of them run away very afraid.
I'm not trying to be mean. I
Shocking.
don't know why everybody runs away from me when I'm just asking a question.
Okay, anything else you want to do to try and find her? You could, I mean, the only other option.
Oh, can I ask the little thing?
Oh,
yeah,
the living index?
AI. Yeah.
Okay. You go down to the front desk, you ask for a living index, you take it somewhere, a hidden corner. It pops up. Hello, welcome to the Great Athenaeum of Arendriel. What can I help you find today?
Head archivist.
This thing records.
You are looking
Words
for
search.
tomes about the head archivist of the Great
No,
Athenaeum of Arendriel.
No,
Hold
I
on,
want
hold
the-
on. Wait,
the
Zada,
current-
Zada. Wait,
current-
wait. Hold on.
Incognito,
Wait,
Can we take a beat?
Incognito mode.
I am now in incognito mode. Only Zada is listening. It is in Zada's head. You are looking for records about the High Archivist of the Great Athenaeum.
I want to know where the current head archivist is. I would like to talk to her. Very
You
important.
want to know about the birth and life of the current head archivist. We have a biography on her.
Not really about that. No, where is she at in this place? Like, where is she? Does she have an office?
The head archivist's office is on the 4th floor in the southwest corner.
All right, let's try to go for there.
Okay, that's helpful. You go, and honestly, you have to wait like the whole rest of the night before she emerges from what you assume is like sort of a hall of offices. And luckily, you got a good description of her appearance. She comes out. She's wearing the white archivist robes that has a little some yellow stitching along the seams. She walks pretty slowly. She's carrying like a big old bag. She has like a bundle of books that are all strapped together with some leather straps, and she's making her way for the exit as the Athenaeum, all of the different living indices are saying like, the Athenaeum is closing in 10 minutes. Please make your way to the front desk and exit the building. Thank you for visiting. All of them at once are sort of starting to say that as they float through the Athenaeum announcing closure.
I will try to. Excuse me. I actually was hoping. Are you the head archivist? Oh, you have so many books there. Would you like some help? I can help you with that. Carry to the exit. Or
Oh,
maybe help?
thank you, dear. I do appreciate that. And she hands them over. She says, Did you just ask me if I'm the head archivist?
Yes, I've been trying to actually look for you. I was actually wanted to discuss some stuff about some Littlelyn history. If you can tell, I'm a Littlelyn. I saw that some of your information is not entirely accurate. I was just wondering if I could give you like a little bit of culture, where I'm from, as I walk with you.
Roll persuasion, please.
I am actively failing my charisma saving throw right now from secondhand embarrassment.
He started out so charming, and then he got insultment.
4.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She says, what's the book you were reading? I take great pride in what we have available here.
Oh, I'm not saying that I like the idea. I was just wondering if you could get more of a hands-on account of actual Littlelyn history than the one that I read from a guy that was trying to introduce himself into some of the Littlelyn's prides and tribes there. I come from one that actually is very abundant in the Eastern continent, and we actually worship Ere, and I was just wondering if I could... I'd like to other people to understand where we come from a little bit more than, secondhand knowledge. But like a first-hand account might be a little bit better.
She squints up at you, and then from one of her beneath some folds and in a pocket, she pulls out this little rectangle of glass on a chain and holds it up so that she can. It's sort of like glasses, so that she can see better. And she says, "You yourself are a Linolin. I am so sorry. Quite rude of me, indeed. Of course, we have always tried to get the most first-hand knowledge that we can." And she puts the glass back away, and she says, "You should know better than anybody, though, that Leonin are famously quite separate from and hard to get to."
We definitely are. So I was wondering if I could just take a little bit of your time and maybe give you a little bit of our references. I would actually be open to maybe trying to get our tribes to communicate. I'm very far away from home. I was actually trying to get some information about the mainland to try to bring over to my tribe. And I would think like a sharing of knowledge between the cultures. Maybe we can learn some stuff from you, and then you can also learn some stuff about, get more an in-depth cultural look into our way of life.
Roll persuasion with advantage.
He turned that around in a way I didn't think he would.
Right? Charming and stuff.
12.
Okay, better. You have a tempting offer here. I would be quite glad to sit down with you and discuss our cultures and perhaps work out a sort of exchange of knowledge and ideas. Please come. And she's still trying to go home at this point, but you're
let me
walking with
just-
her and talking. It's a big Athenaeum.
Yeah, let me carry those books for you and anything. And then as I'm trying to figure out where she's hiding that key, also I'm going through her, helping her.
Feel up the old lady, huh? All
Yeah,
right.
are you patting her down?
No, I'm gonna see if I can find it first. But if I'm
can
going
see
to
it
take,
physically.
yeah, if I can see it, if I can try to get it from her. If I can't, later on when I hand her back the books, then I will.
Okay, roll investigation.
Oh boy, all the worst things for you. All right, come on, my smart boy. Natural 20 for 19.
Smart boy.
19.
All right, 19. Yeah, he's got -1, baby.
Okay. She hands you the books, and she does pull out like a blank, she opens it up, but she pulls out a blank, sort of journal book, and she starts asking you some questions about, Leonin culture, and specifically your tribe that you come from. As she is pulling that book out, though, you do see, a rather large embossed key, is down inside her little tote bag. But it does appear to be like latched on, or like there's like a loop of leather, sort of securing it in the bag.
Okay.
But you do see it inside that bag. And she's you guys are having a conversation as you're doing this about Leonin culture, and it distracts her enough. She's all about the pursuit of knowledge.
I am going to wait till we get to her spot, have a thing, and then I'm going to like accidentally like trip on or something to like drop some of her books.
Okay.
And then I will go to pick it up and then like kind of fall and try to see if I can like pull the bag down with me a little bit and see if I can hurriedly reach in and grab it.
Poor old lady.
Okay, we're gonna do
Accidentally
2
breaks her
rolls
hip.
here. We're gonna do 1 roll for performance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Well, still good. Yeah. No, yeah. Okay, performance, no problem.
Yep.
This is all the best stats for
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, it's a really good thing Zada doesn't ask for help with these things.
15
Okay.
for performance.
Okay,
So,
and then give me a sleight of hand.
Okay, buddy. All right, buddy. This is the bread and butter where we actually have good at. 17 for 21.
Wow.
This is it. I'm done being a DM. I'm gonna go. No, that's great. Okay. It is theatrical this fall. It's totally unnatural looking because you're not used to falling down. Just tripping on things. You're quite graceful and
Yeah.
quick. You have quick reflexes, so it is very exaggerated. Your fall. It's big time acting, like stage acting. But she's like so old, she's blind, and it needed to be that big and dramatic for her to understand what is happening. As you fall, the books fall, you accidentally, like, as you're falling, you pretend you need to grab onto something as you're falling and grab the strap of the bag and kind of pull it down off of her hand, and she falls on top of you, and in the struggle to help her back up, I'm so sorry, you're helping her up, and you do manage to slip upon there and grab that key. However, you are pulling it out, and it stops because of that leather strap. How are you going to deal with the leather strap holding it in there?
I am going to burn a focus point to make my hand catch fire and just burn the strap off real quick. Just like sear it, so just like pull it off.
I'm going to roll. Anything more than a 10 will burn that leather, but leather is not exactly paper. Let's see how.
Yeah.
My friend, you have claws, do you not?
Yeah,
Right,
I have
just a-
claws.
Why is everything on fire?
Why not?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how to show it to you. That's a 4.
Oh my gosh.
But what happens, she has a lot of books in this bag, so the
Oh,
leather is
no.
not burn through, but 2 of the books catch fire, like, instantly. And it takes her a second to understand. She's panicked because you're helping her up, and now her purse is on fire.
Yeah, I'll put it out with water.
You
Where-
just have
where-
water?
Where are you getting
Yeah.
water?
I can switch to water.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can switch to
So-
ice. I can switch to
so-
any element, so I can just put
Singed
it
book,
out.
sure. Singed book, smoking,
I could just turn my hand to ice and just put it out.
Sure. It was still an active fire though, so yes, there is smoke and the smell of burning. But she is all a panic. She is quite flustered. Let me roll to see whether she reacts.
Oh my goodness. This poor lady.
Okay, that's a 2.
Hmm?
I would like you to roll another sleight of hand, see if you can manage to pull off making this all look like it had nothing to do with you.
Okay, Zada dice, let's go.
Hmm.
15.
Okay. Okay. So she, luckily for you, does not react with hostility or very open suspicion. But she is flustered. She is examining these books. She does check that the key is still in there. It is still attached to her bag. But she opens these books and she's like, oh, okay, these are just the fiction. It's fine, dearie. Okay, I need to. And she asks you to help her up. She's just sitting on the floor, recovering herself.
I will get her stuff. Do I have the key now?
You do not. That leather strap did not burn. It is still in her bag.
Fine, I will use my claw. I don't think they're sharp enough, but they are sharp, but I don't know if that's sharp.
Okay, she dug through her bag. Your paw is now out of the bag, so that's going to require another way for you to get your paw back into that bag.
Where is the rest of our group for this? Who is not seeing this and stop it?
He's on the fourth. He's on the 4th floor, way up there.
Oh my goodness!
I love how I told everybody I was going to stalk this little old lady, and no one decided to go with me. It's perfect. I love
This is
it.
not stalking.
This
is
is
something
what
different.
I get for staying outside and playing with clouds.
It's active bullying of this old lady.
I'm not bullying her. I'm not hurting her.
I'm going to
You're
be
just
very
destroying
kind here
your
and tell you
progress.
that the DC is now way up. It is almost going to be impossible for you to get that key out. Your best bet would be to follow her and look for another opportunity to get that bag away from her. Or anything except for trying to reach in and take that key again, because she is now clutching onto that bag.
Actually, okay.
Yeah.
We literally just got done in the hills, and yet the most nerve-wracking thing ever was Zada interacting with an old lady.
So, yeah.
At least he hasn't killed her.
I'm not gonna kill.
It's
It's
not-
not touch your
it's
mouth
not over
before you
yet.
get ideas.
I'm not gonna kill a little old lady.
He's just gonna knock her out.
Yeah, let's see. What can
No.
I do?
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Great
I'm
idea.
not gonna- the old lady needs to go for a swim.
Oh my gosh.
What do I have on me? Oh, you know what? I will, because I felt bad. I've been working on leather straps and stuff like that, right? I will pull one out with the emerald dragon scale on there, and I will hand it to her. I'll try to make it look like a bookmark to give to her, to say oh, I'm sorry, this is something I did. I found is a thing. This emerald dragon scale. I'm sorry for everything that's been happening. But it's kind of like a peace offering between us. And let's see, how am I gonna get
I'm sorry for everything
back?
that's happened for this last 2 minutes.
I know you're just trying to go home and read your books that you can't read anymore, but
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I knocked you to the floor, and then your bag spontaneously combusted for a second.
Let's see.
Listen, be it attacking a giant squidopus or harassing an old lady, Zada does not quit.
Mm-mm. He is a man with a goal.
Oh my gosh.
All right, yeah, he'll just go in. He'll offer. Go inside her place. Maybe offer she's having a nice chat to see if he can buy her a really good meal, a very good expensive meal that she likes, something that she would
Taking her on a
enjoy.
date.
Yeah, why not? Maybe
Okay,
she wants
the
cake. I don't know.
The offering of what looks like a bracelet, or what looks like a bookmark, and has a cool emerald dragon scale, as far as you've told her. She once again gets her glasses out, and she's like, "Oh, pretty." That helps here. So roll another persuasion with advantage, please, as you try and convince her to go to dinner with you to keep discussing Leonin culture. you've piqued her interest with that. It was good on you to decide to do like a culture exchange here.
11.
Okay. She will she won't go far from, so she's not going to go somewhere like super nice, but she'll go and have a quick meal with you and discuss basically she doesn't want to really get into it in public because she wants to you get the impression she wants first dibs on what you're going to tell her about the Leonine culture. You've seen an opportunity here. So she doesn't want to talk about the details of that, so she'll have a quick dinner with you to discuss like plans for meeting later for some interviews.
Sure.
And to do some writing together.
Sure.
So you do manage to get her to a second location, which is famous for kidnappers, for murderers. That's always what you don't want to see happen. You get her to a secondary location. Great job.
Did anybody see Zada leave with this old lady? Like, is anybody following them?
Everybody else roll
to ensure her safety.
Everybody,
Run into
everybody else, just roll a d20 for me and tell me what you get. I'm gonna see if any of you saw him strolling through at closing time. Now one. That's
3.
Yes.
Okay.
16.
18.
Marway, did you say yours?
Oh, I'm outside still. Are we?
Skywriting.
He has to
Oh, that's
go
right, you're
outside,
skywriting.
so
Okay.
He's still gonna go
Yeah.
past us, won't he?
Yeah, he'll be going out the main entrance that you guys have been coming in and out the whole time. So anybody who's outside that main entrance, that northwestern entrance, you would see him leave with her and head down the block.
It's gonna be a 13.
Killian, you also would have seen them walk by. You said an 18 for you, Killian?
Yeah.
You would have seen them walk by inside the library.
Really just like, no, think, what the
So Marway, you see them too as they're leaving, as they're walking outside. Yeah. Okay, Zada, we'll come back to you and see what you can pull off in these last few hours. Going back in time if we need to, if anybody else needs to. What else did you guys do inside the library or inside the Athenaeum to get ready?
As far as our plan goes, I think we
Yeah,
covered,
Killian would probably tell Eidos and Seraphina, I just want to see what happens if someone stays a little bit past their closing hours. So I'm just gonna kind of get settled in an open area, so someone will notice me. But I'll just be reading a book and just see what happens if we're here past closing.
It's a good idea. See who comes to collect you. Should we just wait for you outside then?
Yeah, I don't plan on putting up any kind of fight, so.
See you at the entrance. I'll walk out.
I wonder if we could do an experiment of hiding in the library.
Like one of you being in plain sight, one of you hide, maybe?
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe find a nice reading nook somewhere, tucked away.
And Kittenberry is with you, so she'll offer to be the one to hide. She says, I'm very good at hiding, I'm quite small.
Yeah, why don't you...
But I do feel like Seraphina could probably talk her way out of it if there's an issue.
Sure, that's a great idea too.
I think I know a few spots.
It's a weird thing to say. Okay. Well, I'll see you both outside.
Kittenberry leaves with you, Eidos, walks outside. Zada's already gone. You guys join up with Bula and Mara. Bula, what have you been doing all day? Anything in particular?
She's just keeping an eye on Maraway. She's making sure she has enough snacks to make it through all of this. Kind of going through and sharpening weapons and trying to make sure that everything on her is patted down well so it doesn't clank about.
Cool.
But
Okay.
that's about it.
Okay, very cool. So Killian, you're sitting in plain sight reading a book, or not necessarily, but like in an armchair somewhere in a stack.
Yeah.
The minute that closing time hits, this like 7 p.m. closing time, you notice you turn a page, and those of you who are still hiding in the Athenaeum, in your various spots, we'll talk about exactly where in a minute, but regardless of your various spots of hiding, you can hear this like echoing of a patron, this really loud like of paper turning. And Killian, you're like kind of like, oh geez, okay, this like crazy loud noise. And then in that moment, Killian, a bunch of different a bunch of the like orbs that have the living index all sort of come floating over, and all in these booming like overlapping cacophony of voices. It is past closing time. Please make your way outside of the Athenaeum. Thank you. Please make your way outside of the Athenaeum. Thank you. All these different things talking at you at the same moment and flashing colors and trying to get your attention. And they just keep going on a loop.
Okay, and they're just strobe lighting me right in the face, basically.
Actually, it's not like super aggressive. But yeah, it's very much like it's supposed to be able to grab other attention, like if the monks need to come and tell you to leave or anything like that.
Okay. Killian will start getting up, and he's gonna very slowly head towards the exit. Like, very deliberately slow steps.
Okay. As soon as you're up and moving toward the exit, as long as you keep going in the direction of the exit, the voices, they all like disperse except for one, and the one just follows you and keeps saying, "Thank you for visiting the great Athenaeum of Arendriel. Thank you for visiting." And it's quieter, but in your steps, those of you who are listening can hear his steps. You can hear the steps of the archivists who are starting to wrap up their workday, starting to close down, locking doors, and putting their last books on the shelves, and they're finishing up their day. There's some like chit chat that you can hear, like people like, "Well, where are you going to dinner? I don't know. Where do you want to go to dinner?" As the actual workers are like closing up for the day. But you can hear every single noise inside this Athenaeum is clear as if it was next to you. And Killian, you slowly make your way out, but nothing changes as long as you keep heading in the direction of the exit.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you hiding, Seraphina? Anywhere in particular, or just in one of your spots?
Spots maybe just in the same on the same floor as Killian. So I'm like kind of nearby. So I was hoping to observe what might happen to him.
Okay.
Do I hear this, like the page turning and stuff like that?
Yeah. You
From
hear
him and
everything
his footsteps.
inspired. Yeah, you watched him. You got a place where you're hiding. Like you like find a way in a shelf. Like you move some books around and get like all the way up under the shelf and put some books in front of you, and you just have line of sight of Killian like one floor below and across on a balcony. But you the minute that page turn after it was technically closed, you heard everything from there on,
Oh my gosh.
including his whole layout until his steps stopped sounding the minute he crossed the threshold outside.
Seraphina is suddenly filled with claustrophobia because she realizes that she can't move without making so much noise. And she suddenly realizes that she really needs to go to the bathroom.
Okay, and because she's gonna be so miserable, that's where we're gonna leave it tonight. Seraphina has to pee so bad. And that's it. Zada's making his way to dinner with the High Archivist. Seraphina is hiding inside a bookshelf, trying to hold her bladder. The rest of you are all outside. Killian just walked out. We will start right back there.
It's the second episode
Incredible
we've ended
thing.
with Seraphina hiding behind a bookshelf.
It is, isn't it?
True.
Every time you're in the library, you're hiding. Wow, okay. Well, thank you all for watching tonight. What a fun one. Get ready for some action and some, probably, lore dump next week. As if we haven't had enough of that already. Thank you all.
Hooray! Lore.
Ah.
Okay, well,